We're just going
Yeah.
Hello.
for it. That's one way to start it. Well, this is Box Thoughts. This is the second week in a
Box
row.
slots?
Box Thoughts, yeah.
You said slots.
No, I didn't. I
He
said,
said box thoughts.
Yeah, definitely.
He definitely said box thoughts.
Box Thoughts. You're the thoughts. The THOTS. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining me.
We're the thoughts, and we're all in a box.
Yep. Put the thoughts. Put it in a box to the left.
Those himbos over there.
Trey is joining us this week. He was missing last week. He fell asleep.
As you do.
But you recognize him from Ghost on the Ox. Special guest with us is Josh.
Hey, Josh.
Special guest with us is Almonds coughing
Yeah.
over the guest introduction.
Actually, the coughing was here last week too. So.
Oh, you're right. Actually, he's not
a
a special guest.
He
He's
might be a reoccurring character at this rate.
recurring bit.
Yeah.
Josh is here. He is just a fellow nerd friend. And I won't say how we know each other because I don't want to give away too much information. But yeah, I'll say that. Fellow nerd friend.
All right. It's porn.
They're both friends.
Hey,
We're both-
Like that applies to basically.
This is the wrong
effectively
platform if you
all
want
of
to
us.
see me like that. If you want to see me like that, I'll send you the link later.
Yeah.
Is it an
On
OnlyFans?
his Minecraft server.
Exactly.
Okay, so you're that nerd friend with the Minecraft server.
Absolutely.
Actually, you do. Don't you help work on one?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
It's actually really fun. We're about to start a new event, and so I've got to get it all set up by this week. Super fun.
Oh, weren't you having a problem last time we talked about Minecraft? I wanted you to tell Trey about this. Actually, I wonder if he knows anything about this. You were having a problem with moving your server and stuff around, and
yeah,
this is like
yeah.
a couple months
Oh,
ago.
I know
This is a while
nothing
ago.
about that. I know nothing
No?
about admin
Oh.
processing and the actual server technicalities or anything like that. I never got that deep.
Okay, never mind.
I can do like some of the
You can still tell him what it was, though.
Well, so Minecraft updated recently to one of its newer versions, and we were trying to update the server. But the server had gotten so big in just how far people have traveled, where all the new content wouldn't have been seen. And so I tried to prune it. And then
We're
as
gonna
soon
get
as
to the
I
Mac
tried
Mini in just a
re-uploading
second.
the world files, they all corrupted and everyone's stuff got lost. I had like 3 backups, but everyone's stuff was lost. And so
So can I say, like, in my experience, in all of my years of life, having played Minecraft for as long as Minecraft has been around, all of the best servers that I've ever played on solved this problem by just saying "fuck it," wiping clean and starting fresh every like 2 or 3 major updates.
yeah.
Because that's really enough to like
Also-
make the amount of
Also,
content.
that helps keep the fun going, the fun loop of Minecraft alive.
Exactly, and you can make it the one server that was on the last one, Homestead. You know, it happened probably like 2 or 3 times that I was on there, or while I was on there, and it would be like a huge event every time. You know, they just got around because there was some like microtransaction stuff that the admin plugged in, and so basically at the end of the server's lifespan, he just made everything free, and so all of the most powerful like busted items and stuff for the server were just free to everybody, and it was just complete havoc and chaos, and a great time was had by all until the new world happened.
Yeah,
I-
I think with our server, because it's smaller, we at least want to keep it around for like a year. So I mean, it's coming up on a year in a few months. So I mean, we're gonna look at it then, but you know, we just decided to make the world a little bit bigger and tell people to go out further for the new content.
Do you ever make a sex server?
No, all of my Minecraft servers are purely Christian, devout Catholics sent down on high. There's no
Bronies.
swearing in my Minecraft server, guys.
There's bronies then.
There's probably bronies in there.
Bro, that's a word I haven't heard in like 5 years. Bro,
I wonder how well Minecraft would run on the Mac Mini. Huh? Like that segue. Twitch, tell
Yeah.
us about the new Mac Mini.
It's fucking fire.
It's very small.
Yeah, dude.
It's Twitch sized.
Dude, it is literally like it's 5 inches by 5 inches. It's fucking small as shit.
And you're familiar with that dimension.
Well, I've seen your penis, so.
Have you?
Why? When?
Elaborate. That sounds like a perfect box lot story.
Did you drug me and make me pass out? Because I don't remember that.
You
Just
don't
to see your
remember the
penis.
trip to Fort
Just
Myers?
to see my penis.
He always wanted to know. He was like, I gotta know, is mine bigger? He drugged you just to find out.
I rubied him
I don't
while
know.
driving.
Wow.
I'm more concerned. I'm more concerned that you just called 5 inches small. I mean, like that has me worried. You know.
I think it's pretty big, actually. I think it's quite adequate.
I mean, come on, guys. 4 inches is average, right?
Yeah.
I think 5 is pushing it. I don't know anybody who wants 5 inches. You know?
Yeah.
No.
Anyway, the Mac Mini though.
Mac Mini, base model, but 32 gig of RAM, fucking beast. Have not even begun to install shit on it yet. Because I'm gonna install very minimal on it because in another month or two, I'm gonna do the SSD upgrade for it.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, how are you doing? Tell us about that because that was interesting.
That's interesting. So they use basically it's just standard NAND flash, but they use
Well, to start out, to preface this, everybody knows Apple charges out the ass for upgrading to having more storage. So instead of going that route, you bought the Mac with the minimum, or not minimum, but a smaller amount. And
yeah, so there's a third party upgrade path. There's a couple of them now that offer like the whole pack. You know, you get your like screwdriver, spongers, everything to open it up and do it. But you just slide it in. The only caveat is you need another Mac to do the what do they call it? UFE, but it's like basically like an offshoot of EFI boot. But so you have to have another Mac to like hook up to it to reinstall Mac OS on the bare drive. So it's going to be a format and a reinstall, which is a pain in the ass. But
you have multiple Macs, so you're good, right?
Yeah. Fucking,
but it is a whole process.
Yeah, it is. It's like an hour or 2 hour process.
What size? How much storage are you gonna put in there? How much size? What you should get like a 10.
No, the largest offer right now is 2 terabyte.
Really?
Yeah, because it's a compact module, not full size, you know, like M.2 or anything.
They don't make bigger ones, or are they just
not
expensive?
Yet. Yeah, not yet. Plus, I think that just the way Mac OS and their closed ecosystem is, 32 terabytes is the largest internal they offer. It might all that it would be recognized.
I gotcha.
Yeah, it's a beast. I haven't really begun to play with it. Ran Cinebench on it. It's about half as fast because the Cinebench right now doesn't use the GPU built-in to benchmark, which is kind of annoying. They haven't updated it yet. I guess there's a beta or something like that.
Is it because it's ARM or is it because of the chip itself?
It's because of the chip. It's just because it's Apple proprietary, and not a standard graphics driver. But on GPU alone, it clocks in about half as fast as a 32 core Threadripper, which is insane. The price of a 32 core Threadripper just for the processor is almost $2,000.
And the Mac Mini was only
$1,000.
Yeah.
And
if you went with less RAM, it was only like what, 600?
Yep.
Yeah, so that's Apple is crazy with their computers in the last 4 or 5 years. It's been interesting to see the switch up, because it used to be that they were really kind of whack.
Well, ARM being a offshoot of RISC processing, it's always stemmed well for mobile. That's why Snapdragon and Tensor cores and everything else exist. In the cell phone and portable space. But as far as it now being a viable desktop chip is insane. And I mean, unless you're doing mad amounts of video or I mean, my God, the base model is about 50% per core faster than the M1. So,
if I didn't need like the camera and sell data to text, I would do what Josh does and just have an iPod Touch and not even have a phone, like an actual phone. I don't know if you have an actual phone or not, but I seen that you just usually use the Touch, and I would go that route, not even pay for a data plan if I didn't need the other two things. Because I used to do that in like high school.
I have an iPod Touch. I haven't touched it in years. Used to use it all the time.
Does that count?
What?
I touch myself. Does that count?
Only partially.
Oh,
I touch my pod.
Your tripod?
My I don't know. Why would it be a tripod?
It's one leg of the tripod, I guess.
Okay.
Unipod.
The unipod. I touch my unipod.
Monopod?
My
Monopod.
Solo pod.
Solo pod.
Well, I mean, you could do the tripod. You just gotta squeeze all the legs together and like.
Oh God!
What? When you say all of the legs,
You gotta like
what?
really put your arm up there.
What
That's
other
such a-
legs do you have? Because I don't
That's a
consider
visual.
them legs. I consider them sacks.
Sacks?
That's what I
You
consider.
got two
sack.
sacks.
I'm not
Yeah, I
talking
got-
about your nuts.
I
It's
got
not talking
one
about your
sack.
nuts. It's not talking about your nuts. It's talking about your. Well, isn't the whole idea of a tripod being your legs and your dick?
He said
That's
if
the three.
you grab.
Your legs
Well,
and
see-
your meat.
And
I
honestly,
thought-
at
Bring
this
them
point,
together.
I was just thinking about a normal tripod, and you just hold up the legs like a
Sweet.
tripod.
Innocent.
I'm gonna call myself
Catholic
out
mind.
here. True story though. Back literally, I was 23. Yeah, I was 23. I had it all set up. I just when the time came to do it, I didn't have the money when it was ready, so I didn't get it done. I was actually gonna have my sack split and sewn.
What?
Yeah,
Into two individual balls?
yeah.
Why?
What are you gonna name
Because I was playing a whole bunch of body mod shit, and I had like people to do it and everything.
What the fuck?
it? The only real
Yeah.
body mod.
I've never
I
heard
would
of that
ever
being a
do-
thing. Split your nutsack into two.
I would.
Yeah, I
split
was
my
gonna
thumb.
cut out part of my ear and do a whole bunch of shit.
I guess splitting your sack would like prevent torsion or anything,
Yeah. It's a completely. I mean, at the time, there had been like 3 or 4 people that I had known, like not knew personally, but that had done it.
Really?
But yeah, I mean,
How do you explain that to someone when you like look up like, yo, check? I gotta show you something first.
well,
let you
instead
know.
of
I don't want you to get freaked out.
it
Who do you
just
go to
doubles
for
the speed.
this?
It's like a double kick out.
Double kickback.
What kind of circles are you hanging out in where this is available to you?
And somewhat normal.
Yeah, and acceptable.
Hanging out with a lot of
Acceptable.
punks, goths, and metalheads.
So that's what they do when you hang out with them.
Not
They just,
nowadays.
Yeah, they convince you to do
No, they really
really
suck.
ridiculous. Trey, you look an awful lot like Reggie Watts right now.
Thank you.
I
You're like,
can agree with that.
What, Reggie Watts lost 200 pounds.
Dang, he's not that fat, is he? At least not
He's a big boy.
that big. I'm like 200 pounds myself.
Well, maybe Reggie Watts lost 100 pounds.
Imagine if Reggie Watts was 400 pounds.
I want to go back to the ball sack thing real quick.
Yeah, me
Okay.
too.
Was this for a girl? Were you
No.
gonna do this for a girl? Oh, okay. So this was for you.
This was
You
just for me.
Just for your own
sat
enjoyment.
there and were like, my sack could be 2 separate sacks.
I
and
could
my
have
day
2
would be
sacks.
better. You really were. You weren't thinking about any worries about what could happen to your sack, like during the process or anything. That would
There's
be my
like very little risk other than infection.
Well, see, the thing that
Other
I'm
than
worried
Very
about,
little risk other than infection.
See,
Infection
but, like,
is
okay.
a pretty big risk.
you know those like grandpas at the gym that have their sack hanging out like one side of their leg and it's like drooping all the way down. I
Yeah.
mean, like at that point, wouldn't like one go down one leg and one go down the other?
Yes.
No, like that's what I'm
Yes.
more concerned about.
That's part of the aesthetic. It's part of the
I
look.
don't know what kind of sack you're talking about. I'm a Christian, so I don't know what you're talking about here. I'm a Christian. I've never. What do you mean, a sack going down Grandpa's leg? I've never seen. What are you talking about?
The
Santa's sack for
communion
Christmas, of
wafers.
course.
Would you do the split tongue surgery too?
I would do
thought
the
about
split
it,
tongue.
but
I've thought about
no.
that several times. I kind of want to.
Really?
There's a lot more risk involved with that than splitting your sack.
And
What?
I would still rather split
but I
my
don't
tongue.
believe you.
No, your tongue is a more vital muscle, and you're eating. You have to eat food still, so it's like it's dangerous.
Yeah.
To like you can get it infected easily.
Yeah, you have to give up pussy, for a while. And
You have to give up a lot for a while.
Yeah.
For your tongue.
Do you have to eat liquid diet type thing?
I would
for a
assume.
while?
Yeah.
I have never really looked into it, but I would assume, yeah.
Yeah, I've dated 2 girls with it done.
I want to get it done, but
What was that
I've
like?
never actually looked into what it would entail.
Unfortunately, in both of my cases, they were not well versed in it. So,
What does that mean? Well versed in what?
like, using it properly as God intended.
Okay, I read you.
Well, how did God intend? Josh, can you enlighten us as the churchgoer that you are?
Well, no, I was about to say that's why you get the split sack, so you have one split tongue for one. Split
Yeah,
sack.
exactly. That's,
Oh, wow.
That's
I don't know if
great.
God intended that then, because he would have made us with split tongues and split sacks if that was the case. I don't think he would have made us and said, "Hey, go get it done." So that way you can do it.
He's like, oh, I
You gotta
forgot
get
to do this.
You gotta
guys
get the DLC.
All I'm
actually.
saying-
I mean, like that's what
Is- all I'm
circumcision
saying-
is. Circumcision is DLC.
Well, I don't got that DLC, so
Oh, you didn't buy the
You
season
went
pass?
to a world
no.
where it
Sorry,
wasn't
Phil.
possible.
I skipped that. I skipped the season pass when I came in.
There you go.
What'd you say, Trey?
They didn't birth you into a world where it wasn't possible, so obviously that's got to be worth something.
That's true.
Good point.
That's true.
Well, plus I don't think any of them got like struck by lightning, so obviously, I mean, like I feel like that'd be a clear sign right there. Don't do it. But
That makes me wonder what happened to Bob. He's gotten hit twice.
Wow.
Oh my god, yeah,
My dad got hit.
that explains a lot.
Yeah, it does.
Explains a lot about Bob, and then also that about your dad also explains a lot about you.
Not really, because that was well after I was born.
Oh,
Yeah.
imagine like getting struck by lightning, like affected all of your sperm and made your children like had an effect on your kids, on your DNA.
I'll turn into Rogue or fucking what's her name?
Hmm?
They all turn into what?
Storm? I don't
Yes, thank you.
Oh, yeah, yeah. You get storm powers. Yeah. What was that?
I don't know what that was either. But what I do have to ask,
Yeah. Oh, Trey.
Oh, you actually heard that?
Yeah, that's what,
What
that
the
is.
fuck? Okay, hold on. I'm pressing buttons. Your boy's
I'm pressing
over
buttons.
here. Hold on.
we're doing it live.
For some reason, turning on the low cut on this channel made it audible to you guys. I don't know what the fuck.
We're doing it live. I just showed that clip to Armand the other day, to Alman,
you should
and
make
he
that
had
a
never seen
YouTube
that.
poop.
We could do that. He had never seen that clip.
Yeah, I never saw it before.
Yeah, that shit's iconic.
That's
So,
like one of the
that-
first, like, not one of the first memes, but one of the first like TV blooper memes. You know?
it's definitely of that era.
Yeah,
What if we brought YouTube poops back as shorts?
they do.
They that's very much a
People do that.
I don't see them. They're
I
not
see
on my
them.
The
algorithm,
algorithm probably just doesn't show it to you because you're in your late 20s.
I guess.
Not-
It
I
hates
see
me.
them. I'd be looking for them, so I see them.
Well, yeah,
You're
you
in your
go
mid-20s.
for that kind of stuff. So
Mid 20s is the right age. Late 20s is out of it.
Yeah, I guess they switch your algorithm up and they put, "Hey, send this to the girl that you think is the prettiest ever."
YouTube's like, bro, you're almost 30. You gotta start switching up what you watch. Come on.
Yeah, I wonder if they ever like would stress test the algorithm by just flooding like ladies' Instagram feeds with just nothing but YouTube poops for like a day and see what happens. See how it affects, or just sprinkle them into their feeds to see like how it affects what they're doing. Like,
They would start liking it. I feel like it would convert them.
I don't think so.
I think it would. I think
Well,
the power
I
of the
know they
algorithm
would.
is
I
stronger
think-
than you think.
I mean,
think
like,
it'd have to be like lipstick commercial.
like the
Make up
the
YouTube.
No,
take a-
girls follow trends. Girls do trends. So if the YouTube poop became a trend, like a trendy new niche thing, not niche, but a trendy new thing, they would be on it.
I'm not even
Although,
saying
would you really want like the young TikTok kids trying to like copy
Yes.
the trend of YouTube poop?
I think it would.
Maybe.
I mean, I've seen their YouTube poops. It's literally just Skibbity
that's literally
Toilet
all
Riz
it is.
YouTube poop edition, and it's
Trey?
disgusting.
I said that's literally all that Skibbity Toilet is. Skibbity Toilet is
It's
Our,
essentially
is like this generation's Mama Luigi spaghetti.
Didn't
Mama
work.
Kind of all wrapped into one.
I
Like
forgot Mama
It
Luigi.
it is, except they tried to make lore. They tried to put lore to it, which
that
you don't
which
need.
immediately made it cringe, which is
Right,
why
Skibbity
you don't-
Toilet
you don't
is
do
getting
that.
a movie made by Michael Bay.
Yeah, I know, right?
Shut up.
No,
It
impact
is.
culture.
It's
Shut
getting
up.
a movie made by Michael Bay.
There's no way. Shut up.
I swear.
Almond's lying.
No, I
Almond,
swear.
guys. Trey, you weren't here. Trey,
100% correct. Yeah, it's
No
been in production, or not
way.
production,
No
but
way.
in pre-production for a year already.
what do you?
Yes,
What
it has
what
been.
is the movie? What would
Skibbity
that
Toilet.
movie be?
I don't
No,
know.
but
I
what-
don't even
but-
know what Skibbity Toilet is.
That
Trey just playing
we just heard
random. Yeah,
Oh,
right.
okay.
Trey just playing random synth notes.
All right, hold on then. Give me a second.
That should be the podcast. I don't. There doesn't need to be a movie of everything.
pretty soon, I mean, we're already, there's two engines that I know of, or two AI models right now that generate games on the fly.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen AI Minecraft.
Yeah, that's a little bit different. The two that are running.
I think I've also
that-
seen AI Doom.
Yes, but they
But
are
just
not
graphical.
they're
What-
not playable. In the sense they're just a recreation of what it sees. However, the two models are actually somewhat playable. That you have first person view. You have some control.
And
They're
it's
basically
creating the
like-
game as you play.
Yeah,
That's
literally.
cool.
Yeah, it's kind of nuts. The one is generating like 15 frames a second.
Wow.
That's not great, but it's good for AI. I guess it's pretty
It's
fast. for
damn
AI.
near playable at
It's
15
faster than
frames a
me.
second.
I can't do it.
It's faster than me.
If one AI can do it, I can't do that shit. Good job, AI.
And drawing each frame.
I turn left. Yeah, it's gonna be nuts. I mean, I don't know. I don't know where the world's existing. I'm just trying to have fun while my lifespan exists.
Yeah.
The internet is gonna be a new place, I think.
Well, the internet's already dead. It really is. I mean, when was the last time you went to a webpage that wasn't for a product or an existing e-commerce site?
Yeah.
I play Dungeons and Dragons, and I watch YouTube. I think that's all I can say.
I wish I had time for D&D.
I think I'm doing D&D this Saturday actually
I haven't played D&D in
with
years.
with Moth.
I do.
Oh, really?
Tuesdays.
Yeah.
It's fun.
What?
I usually do on Tuesday.
And I forget who else. Richard. I don't know who else.
Well, there's always a dick in D&D, so.
Yep, it's
Yeah.
me.
Dick and dong.
What class do you play, or race?
Rogue, usually either human or halfling.
Mhm.
Halfling? Really? You pick a halfling?
For the agility.
I thought you'd just say for the realism.
Fuck you.
I usually choose a under elf and a sorcerer or rogue. I like charisma.
I don't like playing elves or any elven race in general because of the frailty of the character, and I just never got into their lore background, which you're kind of bound to like play as an elf unless, like, back in the day, like there were a lot of like in 2.5 there were a lot of restrictions on like what elven classes could
Yeah,
do.
yeah. D&D 5e has changed a lot more. You can elves. I like under elves because they can see in the dark mainly. That's like I just want to be able to have vision whenever. It doesn't make you frail typically to choose an elf. I think you just get a bonus in a dexterity or something depending on which subspecies of elf. And I don't know. Like I said, I usually choose a sorcerer class, so I'm staying in the back anyway. I don't really care if I'm frail. I'm just trying to convince people to not kill us, or convince them that I will kill them, and then kill them.
My thing was almost every character I played was some sort of rogue, whatever variation of rogue I decided to play that thing. But my whole thing was having a smaller bag of holding. What do they call it? I can't think of the name of it, but and then it would have what?
The Merciful Holding.
Yeah, basically. But it was
The camelback
just filled
holding.
with whatever junk I had like collected over the years, and my whole thing was I could reach into this bag, roll a die to see if I could come up with something useful out of this bag to help the situation, whether it be to make a grappling hook or pick a lock or devise some sort of trap or disarm something or whatever. I just had this bag of holding that was filled with junk that I just whatever.
To climb a wall? I have a whole ladder in here.
Yeah, basically, but that was my whole thing. Like, because I just never liked the fighting dynamics of D&D, so I would avoid like
combat.
Yeah, see, the combat stuff is always what I really like went towards, like as far as like actually playing D&D. Like that's the part that was always interesting to me, because it was cool kind of seeing how everybody designed the battles depending on how well they like knew the mechanics. And I've always been like deep into like game mechanics and having a fascination with game design and that. So like having it being able to do that, it's interesting.
I don't like combat as much as I like just the exploration aspect.
Yeah.
Just because I like to push the boundaries of what I can get away with in D&D. I like to really see what I can do with my spells outside of combat, or if I can just convince someone to follow me around and be my like personal bodyguard or some shit. I just like doing whatever.
Kind of like experience is exclusive to out of combat, encounters, and that probably means that the DMs you've had just haven't been good at combat encounters.
Well, usually when I'm in combat, I can talk them out of combat.
Yeah, we can do it.
But I can also get creative with my spells in combat. But like, it's just not the same as when I'm outside of combat. I just like having the
we should make our own version of D&D, and we should combine charisma and like magic and make a new third thing called swagger.
That's what
That-
sorcerer is.
That's-
Sorcerers,
Yeah.
they literally draw their spell casting power from charisma. That's why I
Yep.
like sorcerers.
Damn,
Oh.
D&D really thought of everything, huh?
They literally
well,
have.
yeah.
They're
I
just
mean,
supposed
any
to
of
be
the
super
D6
confident. They're naturally born
variations-
spellcasters.
I've never really played D&D, like actual D&D. I played Star Wars D&D like a tiny bit, and that's modified, so it's kind of different. So I'm not familiar with legit D&D.
I always wanted to get into like
I have more of an understanding because of Baldur's Gate 3.
I should play that.
You should. But what were
Were
you
you
going to say,
saying-
Dustin?
Yeah.
I always wanted to get into like the tabletops. Like the one I really wanted to get into, but I
40K?
could never afford to or had the time was Necromundo, which is a spin-off of the Warhammer universe.
Mm-hmm.
And I found that in college and was enthralled, like to the point where I was like skipping classes to play.
I'll be right back. Have some more water.
Damn.
Yeah. And then like
Warhammer-
it was like $80 for like the base box set at the time, and like gave up on it quickly.
Warhammer is very like fun and intense with the lore. Like their lore
Yeah.
is so crazy to me compared to D&D because there's the Warhammer lore that has been going on, and then there's also the Warhammer lore that's before Warhammer 40K, and then there's also the Vermintide universe, which is another like offshoot.
Mhm.
Is the Vermintide stuff separate?
It is separate.
Yeah.
It's a,
Like
it's a,
So
like
it's
a
Necromunda.
separate timeline, like a separate
it's a
canon?
separate timeline. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
How
Where
many? So
Necromundo
wait.
isn't a
So
separate timeline. It's all based on Earth, though.
do these real quick? Do these different timelines? Are they separate takes or entirely, or do they all offshoot from a single like point?
So there are like there's like Total War Warhammer, which is like kind of takes place more like medieval-ish. That's on Earth,
Mhm.
and the demons, the same like gods, evil demon gods, are there and
Yeah.
everything. It's just more on Earth. Then there's Warhammer 40K, which is like the space and
Mhm.
everything. I think that is all connected in the same universe.
Yeah.
I think.
Same
I'm not
history,
sure.
Yeah.
But there's another Vermintide is another universe. At the end of Vermintide, the whole world dies. It gets destroyed. A vampire takes over. That's the ending of Vermintide.
Oh wow.
And then
But
there's
is
that
that
continues
so from
into
has a
another,
whole different start from regular 40K?
that's a whole different world. It's not it's Warhammer, but it's a whole different like it's it's
there's
Earth,
only like
but it's like
3
a
points of
different
crossover.
universe kind of Earth type shit. Like
So like what connects it to make it Warhammer?
The spiritual like demons.
it's made by the
gods.
people. I think the gods are still the same.
The
I'm
same
not
gods and
sure.
stuff? Okay.
Yeah.
So
Vermintide is more about like giant rats and vampire lords, so I'm not sure.
giant
entirely,
rats. Cool.
But yeah.
Okay.
Like
then
the world is basically in Vermintide, there's basically like one city left in the whole world. It's basically like swords and maybe flintlock pistol type timeline, and the world is ending. There's no real hope. And then the world ends because this vampire lord takes over. And then it goes into the age of I can't remember what it's called.
Vampires or some shit.
No, age of someone else. It like goes forward like 100, 500 years.
Just
some guy
humanity is just died out.
Well, humanity comes back. This guy comes
Oh.
and he basically
But that's
Stop
the
the
crossover
vampire
between
lord.
40K and whatnot is because it's based on not like wormhole, but there is crossover there.
yeah.
I do know.
Oh,
that.
okay. So they actually do cross over physically at some point.
just sort of.
I don't know about that. I would say that they cross over in the sense of like there's certain like
Carryover
lore
things.
aspects that are similar, but it's
Okay.
slightly different, you know?
Okay.
And I think there's another universe that they have too, but I don't know all that much about Warhammer. I just like Dark Tide, and that got me into a lot of Warhammer stuff.
See, this entire conversation is showing me that like the minuscule amount of Warhammer knowledge that I know of that there are painted figures that people make and those edits that people make on like Instagram and TikTok about Warhammer 40K is like barely scratching the surface. I feel like if I look this up later, there's going to be like a 13-hour long video.
Yes.
going-
Yes.
There'll be
No,
There'll be
I'll
a
watch.
13 hour, and that wouldn't even be the whole of it, bro.
and that would be
No,
part
no.
one.
So
That would just be part
I
one.
watched a 13-hour video about Bionicle lore. There's probably a 37-hour video about 40K.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it.
Wow.
And
Yeah,
that would
it's-
just be specifically 40K, and then you would have to go over to Total War if you wanted to look at that, or like
Yeah.
Yeah,
different types of universes.
yeah.
Because like
and
you
all
said,
the-
Necromundo is another spin-off of Warhammer. I just don't know as much about that one.
Yeah, Necromundo just takes place on Earth, in which Earth is just one big city at this point. built
When
on
I hear
top of each other.
Necromundo, I just think of like a Brazilian dude. Yo, what's up, Necromundo? It just sounds like a Brazilian guy's name.
I
And he
don't
just
know.
fucks dead people.
I wouldn't trust a Brazil. Yeah, that's what I would think if I heard of
Yeah.
Necromundo. Is he a necromancer or
Well,
is
it
he
makes me
having
think
sex
of
with them?
Ray. You know the name Raymundo, Necromundo.
If I make a
Lord.
necromancer, that's what I'm gonna name him. Necromundo for sure.
It's like
I like that name.
Telemundo in hell is Necromundo.
Yeah.
Yeah, Telemundo. That's what they got. They have that in Spanish hell.
Oh, no.
In Latin American hell, they have Telemundo. They have Necromundo.
They have Spanish infomercials on all the time too.
They got George Lopez.
Jo-
You know they got George Lopez in
they
Latino
got
hell.
George. Oh, for sure. George Lopez.
Wow.
"Ta loca." That'll be him. Every 3 seconds. His big ass head.
You remember? Do you remember? You remember Shark Boy and Lava Girl?
I remember, yeah, with his big ass head in that
His
too.
big ass head in that. That's what made me think of that. When I think of big ass head of George Lopez, I think of that. I think of what's his name, Mr. Electro or something,
Yeah,
Mr.
Mr. Electrode or something. He was their teacher. but then
Mr.
they-
Electric,
Yeah,
something like that. I don't know.
Something.
Why was George Lopez that guy? Why? Like, that's such a weird fact.
I like it.
I don't know. It's funny though.
You know what's funny? Spy Kids. I want to watch it again. Haven't seen it in forever.
Yeah, all those movies are crazy.
Does anyone remember the game or ever hear of it? I think it was called Battle.
Yeah, I like the Airbnb you're in.
Yeah.
Airbnb ate your head for a second there.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah,
if you
actually,
crop it right. If you crop it right, it's like you're going swimming in the back. You know.
Yeah.
You just took a dive real quick. Oh,
But did
relax.
anybody ever hear BattleTech?
BattleTech.
I don't know what that is.
It was like the D&D of MechWarrior.
Oh.
That was cool. I played that a few times, like in high school. But man, talk about a convoluted battle system.
Yeah.
Like just one round would take like half an hour.
Why was it just super complicated? Because MechWarrior is complicated.
Yeah, basically.
Like just extra, like hella controls.
Yeah.
You gotta flick like 8 switches to fire a missile or something.
It was like what's that old Xbox game with the controller?
With the controller.
Heavy armor or something like that with the had the
Oh,
custom mech cockpit controller with all the buttons and shit.
was that Xbox?
Yeah,
I thought that was a PC thing, but okay, I follow.
I think it was.
I've
Xbox.
I've seen variations of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was like that because there you could do the simplified battles, but it really sucked. But like yeah, because you had so many systems and whatnot, and you're trying to role play this, and when really you're should be in front of a console full of screens and buttons and shit. It was like trying to role play in a dogfight in an F-16.
Well, for something like MechWarrior, being in front of a console with screens and buttons is more realistic of a role play than sitting around a table with people, because that's what you would be doing if you were in the thing.
Yeah, basically.
Whereas I feel like Airsoft is great role play for shooter games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did I send you the video of there's it's like in Illinois or something like that. There's a whole like subdevelopment gated community that's all paintball courses and airsoft courses.
That's really cool. No, you did not tell me or show me that.
Yeah.
However, my buddy Andreas, who will probably be on here eventually, he just did an airsoft event a couple weeks ago in North Carolina that takes place in a mall. It's an old abandoned mall, and they use almost the whole thing as an airsoft arena. Yeah, and they did like it was a mil sim. It was like a 2.5 day mil sim thing, where part of it took place at night in the dark.
Nice.
And it was USA versus basically Russia. I don't know if it was USSR or if it was just Russia, but
Foreign adversary number 5.
Yeah, exactly.
Guys we want oil from or something. Yeah, so and that was pretty cool. I've seen some really sick airsoft mil sims. Like, there's some crazy ones.
Yeah.
Full towns and stuff. Like, what was the one that you were going to show me? Is it gated community?
Yeah, it's like this whole like town. Like, literally, it's like 200 residents or something like that. Like, and they
live there.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure a lot of it's fucking
Airsoft Town, USA, or Paintball Town, USA.
Yeah.
Imagine moving there. Imagine moving there, not knowing what it's about, and like you go out to get your newspaper one day. Your neighbor is just like up in the balcony waiting for you to walk out your front door.
You get drive-by by paintball guns.
Yeah, right.
Imagine a town like that with stores and gas stations and stuff. And nice Trey. And imagine a town like that where like everybody's armed, like you're walking around, but everybody's armed with airsoft.
Yeah.
That's a whole people can come in and rob the gas station, but it's with airsoft and they have to go along with it.
They hand out play money.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is like this sounds like something where like you ever heard the joke where if I ever won the lottery, I wouldn't tell you, but there'd be signs.
Yeah.
This would be one of those signs,
right?
Yeah.
Hey Trey, are you using your MacBook right now?
Yes.
So if you do the photo background replacement thing on the Mac rather than on Restream, it works better.
Yeah.
Okay.
We discovered that. Me and Twitch discovered that. Huh?
Yeah. And actually, if you use your iPhone camera too with main stage, it works really well.
Also that. I didn't do that though, but he did.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, the tracking on it's amazing.
Okay.
Okay.
Like, it'll follow you around the room and shit.
Would you ever eat ass?
No, that's Toxic's claim to fame.
That is. I thought you were gonna say no. That's toxic behavior, which is also true.
Yeah.
Good old Wilbert.
So would you ever have your ass ate?
Yeah.
Is that
Yeah.
If they really want to, I mean, I don't really prepare for visitors down there, so I would advise them not to. But if they really wanted to, I'd let them.
What if they said they wanted to put peanut butter on your ass and eat it up?
Nah.
You wouldn't let them do that?
Nah.
Not into that?
That's a little much.
I feel like
yeah.
the more you ask us this, the more I'm questioning if you're wondering if you do it yourself.
I am.
Sir.
Oh, what the Dustin?
Oh, there we go.
What the Dustin? I tried to switch. Oh.
Now there's two of them.
Your other one doesn't have a camera or sound.
Yeah.
Now we have camera.
Plus,
There's camera now. You got
Yeah.
two angles.
Man, that happened right as I did something. I thought that was me for a second. I was about to feel really bad.
No, that was me.
How dare you?
There's center stage.
Yeah, like watch it. It follows you really fucking well.
wow.
Yeah. Though for whatever reason, honestly, the iPad one looks way better to me.
That's the center stage one.
No,
The other one.
This one is the iPhone.
Oh, okay.
That one is the iPad.
They both look kind of the same to me. I'm not looking at it in full screen, I guess.
Have you ever had a girl riding you, cowgirl, Dustin, and just grab onto your beard and try to boss you around or some shit?
Yeah.
Okay.
Your wife probably.
I was like looking at your long beard. I was like, I wonder if that's like a thing that happens.
You were
Long beard?
fantasizing about riding on it yourself.
What's
Grab it
what's
onto
worse
it.
is what
No, I was not. No, thank you.
See, all I can think about now is like that Polar Express scene. You do with the long
That's the
beard.
beard. Yeah. And he's doing the moose noises. I remember that. Or caribou. It was caribou. Yeah. I started teaching Almond how to edit a little bit. Tiny
I'm
bit.
sorry.
It was fun.
We finished the
What are we- what
MegaCon
is this
video.
angle? Your wrist?
Ooh, bitch. I think I figured it out. I
Look at
did.
his tripod.
What the fuck? Why is it? What the fuck?
Nice.
Wow.
OBS widget.
Is that your knee?
Looks like we're looking at his belly. I
It
don't know why
was desk view,
Oh,
which was weird.
So now we both have multicams.
you got picture in picture.
Convenient.
Nice.
How
You
did
should
do
put
that?
you should put that in the other corner.
Can you actually hear it though?
Yeah.
Well, I don't
How did
hear.
you do-
I
how
just
did
hear your
you do
voice.
multicam?
And it's me. It's fucking. I don't know.
I don't know. Oh, now I hear that.
It sounds like shit on my end though. For some reason.
It sounds bad too.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck. For some reason, that's if I have the low pass or the low cut. Do you hear that at all?
Yeah.
Oh, you actually
Yeah.
do hear that?
Yeah.
Oh, that actually sounds a lot better for me. I don't know if it sounds better for you. I'm not gonna do that though.
We're not. We're just getting it through your mic.
Oh, through my
Was it-
oh,
Was that just from the mic? That something's coming through.
Nah,
Yeah,
that's
that
separately.
sounded, that sounded better.
that was just me pointing the mic at the back of my headphone.
Oh.
My headphone.
Oh. That's funny.
Yeah, whatever.
But
Doesn't matter.
me and Omen finally finished the video I was working on of our trip to MegaCon.
Nice.
And we did it. We didn't go full YouTube poop with it, like you said, Trey, but we did do some silly stuff.
We did a lot of silly stuff.
Some silly edits.
It was fun. I think the video is really funny.
I think there's especially the first half.
It
Go ahead.
does start out pretty normal, like a normal video at first, and then and then it kicks in. I want to say maybe like 5 minutes in. Or
Yeah.
so.
Brad Pitt dressed as
Brad-
Deadpool was there.
Yeah. Childish Gambino dressed as Roronoa Zoro.
He was there.
It was awesome. God.
I feel like there was
voice
after-
actor, Kevin
Bojack-
Conroy. They were there too.
After rewatching it again, I think you're right. It's about equal parts you and equal parts Nicole. But I felt like I feel like you had the funny bits.
I do feel like my bits do have more humor than hers. Hers is more so.
Well, your bits are very funny.
Thank you. I try to keep them funny. I put a little
You keep him
You
shaved.
could wash them once in a while, though.
clown nose on it.
Little mustache on
No
under your dick.
mustache. No, but hers is more explaining it. So she's
Yeah.
getting like the more expository like part out of it.
Suppository?
Yeah, I said
Yeah.
expository.
The video will be up tomorrow, which by the time
We'll get rid of the
this
shit out of
podcast
it.
goes up, will probably have been yesterday.
Nice.
Alright.
But yeah, good video. I think it's funny.
Top tier.
Would like to do more man on the street style stuff with you, Omen, because I
yeah.
think that would be very fun.
I think it would be good practice for the next time we go to MegaCon too.
Or any
Get me
convention.
ready. Or yeah, anything. Yeah. It would
Just
get me
talk to
ready
people
for it.
on the street.
Just like, so, would you let Luffy stretch his arm up your ass if he could?
Would you let
him
would you
gum,
let-
gum fist your ass?
would you let Chopper split your nuts in half?
Would you trust Chopper to split your nuts in half and they'd be okay?
No, we should ask people on the street just like crazy surgery questions, like would you get your nuts sewn in half, cut in half, sewn in half?
Would you ever get your tongue split?
Yeah.
Are you circumcised?
Would you put peanut butter in your ass unless someone eat it? All the questions that you're asking us is what we gotta go ask people.
I will ask them. I love asking random.
We're gonna hit hot spots in around the area, like downtown Stewart.
All right. I'll even ask old people. I'll be like, "Hey, so lovely, nice to meet you guys. Shake their
You
hand.
still sexually active?
You guys still fuck? And have you had any three ways? I'm not
I don't know
asking
which would be
for myself. Just want to know.
I'm not sure which would be worse. Is if you asked a grandpa like that the peanut butter question, or if he responded to, "Oh yeah, all the time. I put peanut butter on my side. She puts jelly on hers, and we make a nice
Ooh.
PB&J sandwich."
I'd like that. I'd be
Yeah, I
like,
think
congrats.
that's the worst.
We need to get that on film sometime, guys.
You guys need to that. That's all.
Thank you, Bob.
I'm sure there's a Reddit that would take that.
Oh,
that's
absolutely.
looking for that.
I feel like you already have it.
DJ.
r/PB&J.
Oh no!
Today's
I'm-
sponsor.
I don't like jelly.
You don't like jelly? Oh, you don't like fruit? This man doesn't like fruit.
I don't like fruit.
What's wrong?
Just
with
all fruit. Just all fruit.
Not
Like,
I like watermelon. I like apples.
of course you like
you? No
watermelon.
comment.
Of course I do.
No
Yeah.
comment.
Man,
It's the juiciest fruit alive. Fuck. Only fruit juicier than that is juicy fruit.
Juicy fruit's fallen off, man. Juicy fruit
has
when I was a
fallen
kid used to be really good. And
My
now
cousin. So actually, they might be making a comeback in a different way. You know those
Oh?
Black Forest gummies?
Yes.
No.
So those are delicious. They're like healthy gummies and they're delicious.
Mhm.
Apparently, they have a juicy fruit flavor. And my
What?
cousin told me about it, and he was like, "It's the best of all of them. It's the best flavor they got. And they have really good ass gummies. So for him to say that must be insane. He's like, the way it pops in your mouth, and it just has the juicy fruit flavor and
Pause.
everything.
yo.
Yeah, for real. Pause.
I'm popping your mouth too. So
What?
That was the inflection on that
What?
boat was incredible.
I've never had these gummies you're talking about.
We're gonna.
they're
have to-
delicious.
No, you piece of shit.
What? Whoa, damn.
You're a piece of shit, actually, Devin.
You're a
I
piece of
gave
shit
you
for not
some.
liking fruit.
I gave you some.
Oh, those are those?
The
those are
Valentine's gummies I gave you, you sack of shit. You ate them?
Damn.
I did eat them.
Wow.
You piece of shit.
I told you I
Wow.
didn't want them at the time you gave me them.
I gave it to him on Valentine's Day. Maybe like the day
Yeah, I'm
before
sure you did.
Valentine's Day.
I'm sure you gave it to him real hard.
I was
I
picking him
did.
up to go to stream, and he said, "Do
Why
you want
did you
some
make it sound
gummies?"
so suspicious? To stream. Now I don't believe you.
What do you
Did
mean?
you pick me up to stream?
Yes, I picked him up to stream. And he said, "Oh, I have gummies. Do you want some?" I said, "Not really. I just ate." And he said, "I'm giving to you anyway." And he put them in my cup holder. I said, "Okay." And they've been there. They're still there. They're in my car right now.
Go get them now. Go get them. Try them on air.
Yeah, live reaction. Come on.
For real, actually.
Okay.
I mean, hopefully they're not melted together.
Get on your phone and broadcast the whole thing.
I'm gonna just go get them and I'll be right back. You guys talk
Get on your
without me.
phone and stream it.
No, I'm gonna go
Yes.
get them and come here.
Go
Talk
get
without me.
Okay.
So
So
yeah, it's the Juicy Burst ones. They're on Amazon.
apparently they're delicious. I need to find them. I need to catch them somewhere.
It looks like they're just on Amazon.
I don't want to go on Amazon. I don't like ordering things on Amazon. I like finding things.
No, that's fair.
What I want, you can't order on Amazon.
Weed.
Look at you, Mr. Special Man. With your special taste buds.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Special tongue.
I used to have a pipe just like that, actually. I loved it.
This isn't weed, though.
Oh, I used to put weed
This
in.
is opium.
Oh,
Oh.
well. I would put weed in mine, and I would smoke it, and I would love it.
Welcome to Ghost in the Ox podcast. This is my name is Trey. This is an episode of Box Thoughts.
Fox Dodson.
Here with me today, I got the ghost of Devon,
The ghost. Oh, he's returned.
Oh.
right on cue.
Right on cue, for
Got
real.
Josh. We got Almond Pistachio Senior.
Hello. That's I.
What happened?
I
I'm back.
just
Gummies
started-
secured.
I started the podcast.
You started a news podcast.
Yeah. He just introduced us.
It's the Trey cast.
An hour into the podcast, we finally got introduced.
Nothing like
They're
good-
the bomb.
There we go.
Those are really good. They're not the best, apparently, because the juicy fruit ones are the best, but those are really delicious.
These are fucking delicious.
I've never seen those before. Hold them again. Willy Wallaby. Are they licorice? Green apple?
Yes,
licorice?
but they're like all different flavors.
Okay.
It's the most Australian sounding product I've ever seen.
It does look Australian. I'm not really a big fan of licorice, but my uncle loves
I
Twister.
thought you were gonna say I'm not really a big fan of Australia.
I'm not really a big fan of Australia because of their spiders. They got the biggest spiders known
They
to
just found a
humanity.
new one.
Yeah, I know. And I'm not
Really?
going over there. Never going to Australia. I hate spiders, bro.
How do you find a new spider?
It was a big one. I don't know where the fuck it was hiding. It's even bigger than all of them.
These gummies
Twice
are
the
alright.
size of their most deadly. It's a cousin of the most deadly spider in the world, and it's twice as big.
Oh, that's
Yep.
great. That's fantastic.
Again, at a certain point, how do you discover it? Like, I wouldn't get it close enough to figure out that it's different enough from the other one where it's a totally different species.
Right.
Looks the same, run away. I feel like that's as much as we need to know, you know?
Have you ever seen their huntsmans over there? They're fucking this big.
Oh,
Yeah. No, that's not even the spider that scares me. There's like the spider that takes up like a size of a wall. man.
That's a huntsman. They're actually harmless though.
And see, like, I'm a lot less afraid of giant.
But they call them
spiders
huntsmen,
than attractive
aka they hunt men.
spiders that like will actually like bite you and kill you without you even recognizing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So I finished the gummies. They're alright.
All right.
You
So
ate
know
them
why
all?
They were all right?
Mhm.
Because
You
you
just watched me
waited.
do it. I was
You
sitting here.
left them in your car for 3 weeks.
3 weeks. It was like 4 days, maybe.
4 days? What do you mean?
Dude, it's been a long
I gave
time.
it to you.
days.
It's
Mm.
Valentine's.
No,
We're in March.
What?
wasn't 3 weeks.
Yes.
It's not.
That's
3
like 2
weeks.
weeks.
But it's been like 2
Back to
weeks.
reality.
Okay,
but
2 weeks.
Oh,
It's not 4 days.
That's
10
fair.
more days on top of that.
That's fair. It was in there a little while, but they're all right. So I can imagine Juicy Fruit ones of those being pretty good though.
So what's our topic of conversation right now?
Well, I saved a dog today.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
we really are restarting the podcast.
So I was driving home from Walmart and I pulled into my neighborhood, and right when I pulled in, I see this white dog about this big, I suppose, just walking, about to cross into traffic. Essentially, I had to pull in, cut off the whole road with my car, and get out to grab the dog, and got back in my car. I drove off a bit and got out of my car or parked it somewhere, and then I started looking around, and I heard someone screaming some name, so I assumed they might be calling for the dog. I ran over in their direction, and I guess they lost their dog. But that dog was literally about to walk right into traffic. Like, there was cars going left and right. It was dark, so nobody was going to see that shit. I was surprised I saw that dog randomly there. And that was
That
like
reminds me of 2
5 minutes,
stories.
that whole story.
Yeah. Have you ever seen the video of the
Damn.
turtle going through the windshield on the highway?
No.
Did you see the video of me running over a turtle one time?
No.
There's no video of it, but it did
No.
happen
Okay.
Okay.
by
And-
accident.
Murphy. All the
Bob's
four
dog.
of us here should know who Murphy is.
Yeah.
Murphy made it all the way from Yo Bob's to Home Depot one day.
Oh, wow.
Jesus.
On St. Lucie West?
Yeah,
Wow.
Yeah.
Wait, why? How? Did you just get? He just
because
went.
Bob had left for a job, and Murphy
He went looking for him.
Yeah,
So how did they get him? Oh,
someone he walked into Home Depot, I guess.
how did he get that far?
I
Like,
know.
nobody-
Did he?
Nobody
Does he ha-
stopped him before he reached there.
Does he have a? Does he have a tag that says
Yeah.
who his owner is?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh,
Oh,
okay,
the
okay,
dog
so
I
that's-
found didn't have a tag, so I had to literally that's why.
Like, what color is your dog? And you're holding him.
Yeah. It had a
I mean,
bow
that
tie.
turtle must have had like a mission, like that. I feel like if I saw a turtle just walking like just straight shooting down the road, no looking around, no like grazing off to this, just straight walking down the road, then turn into a Home Depot parking lot, I'm not gonna go pick up that turtle. That turtle's obviously on a mission, and I can't interfere with that,
I mean, you're not wrong.
See,
You know.
feel like if
I had
someone
a-
hadn't stopped that turtle in Home Depot, it would have like gone up to like the lumber section, gotten down a piece of wood. I mean, like,
Asked for it to be cut at a certain length,
yeah.
certain measurements. I'm building a mailbox. When I was a kid, I had a German Shepherd, and you guys, all of you, almost all of you know where I live, so you can imagine where I lived in the house next door here as a kid, right?
And how'd you know
So-
he was German? Did he speak German? And, like, he's a
So
shepherd.
anyway,
Why'd you have to,
He
why'd you have
had-
to
he
include
had-
he was
had-
German?
had,
He was just
a
you could have just said
Nazi
you had a shepherd.
he was a German Shepherd, and anyway, she ran. She used to jump the fence. We had full size wood fence, and she could jump that bitch. And
Oh, yeah.
she ran away one time, or got lost. Yeah, ran away.
Did you hold this
Discovered
German
her?
shepherd as slave?
No,
Why is there a shepherd trying to jump a fence and run away? And why are you saying they're German? Why does it matter that they're German? I don't understand.
This was World War II, so
she was looking for the Jewish shepherds.
Oh, you're trying to stop a Nazi?
Yeah.
Yeah,
wait a minute. But Devin, Wait, Devin had a German Shepherd. What the fuck is wrong here?
Oh, yeah.
That's why the dog kept trying to leave. You know.
Exactly.
I
He was
can't
getting
she ran
revenge.
away.
He was getting revenge. He
But
had that
she
dog
ended up-
locked up.
The second time that she ran away, she ended up in White City,
Wow.
far
That's
the
like a
fuck
perfect
away.
place for a German.
You,
I know.
exactly.
That's where she was going.
Shit.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
might as well change the place to Aryan City.
Yeah.
Jericho would never run away because he would come and follow me wherever I go, and if I'm not here, he would probably just stay here until I come back. So
My
Well,
German Shepherd
you
was
know,
just
I
very
mean-
empty-headed and had a lot of energy and was very like, if ADD was a dog. And
The
she
walls
just-
of Jericho never came down, so
well,
Didn't they blow trumpets and make it come
Yeah.
down and shit? Then they march around it for 7 days or something.
yeah.
Yeah, they
I don't
came
know
down.
what the walls of Jericho were.
Oh well, yeah.
Josh, would you like to enlighten us on this biblical
Yeah.
story?
Yeah.
I know. It was so long ago. I was there. You know.
Well, I mean, you do look like Jesus, so
Yeah. I had to get the metal cross down from the attic last Sunday, so that was a fun
Did you?
process. Yeah,
Metal cross, is it a big ass thing?
it's not that big.
so you had to bear the cross.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Those stairs are hard to go down for some reason. They're kind of steep. Like going up feels kind of normal, but going down feels like scary.
How long do you think you could be crucified for before you die?
7 days.
7 days?
Wow.
7 days.
You think you could last 7 days on the cross? Damn.
That's
I
about how
think-
long you can go without food and water. So
I think I could last about 30 seconds before I started passing out and from the pain, probably.
pussy.
If what they said they did to Jesus was real, like they did a lot of horrible shit. So if
Well, here's a question:
say
Do you
yeah.
guys?
Too,
I mean, do you
because-
guys know like what the actual torture way of like what crucifixion actually is supposed to do?
Yeah, they
It's a lot of
put
shit.
him on
it's
the
supposed to
cross.
humiliate.
It was supposed to humiliate him, and he was also supposed to like basically starve and die from
Blood loss
blood loss
and suffocation.
I don't know. Wait,
Well,
suffocation.
but like that's
Yeah.
what. So like besides the story, the way that crucifixion works is, the way that they nail your feet, is you're in a position where you're gonna start suffocating, like your lungs are just gonna start suffocating, and you're just gonna start dying. And the only way you can stop it is by like
Pulling
pushing,
yourself up.
pushing up against those nails that are in your ankles and trying to hold yourself up that way so that you're not suffocating. And so
Yeah,
the entire
because-
process is you tire yourself out to the point you start suffocate, and then you have to try to power through and push yourself back up. And
Yeah.
so
So
You
at
know,
that
that's
point,
why they
you
talk
just
about-
you probably will pass out if you don't, and then you probably just die.
you telling me
And-
Jesus was sitting there for
Really
7
dynamic.
days and he couldn't pull these nails out?
He wasn't there for
Well, no,
7
and-
days.
and that's why they talk about like they broke the legs of the other soldiers, because that's how you would eventually kill them, is you break the legs and they can't push themselves up anymore, and they eventually just suffocate up there. So that's
Yeah.
like the whole point.
Well, the part of the whole thing too is that when you're draining blood from a lower part of your body, especially ankles and whatnot, and the arms being outstretched and at heart level basically at that point, what happens is as the blood drains out, your body tries to compensate and fills your lungs with fluid.
Mm.
There it is. Yeah.
So
Yeah,
basically,
It's a problem with,
crucifixion is like a
dialysis.
combination of like 8 different factors that are all killing you.
Basically, yes.
Slowly.
Yeah, all in a slow fashion.
Which is all just to say I probably wouldn't last like 30 minutes. Yeah, 30 minutes.
Yeah,
I
that's
did
what I'm
not.
saying.
So you're not Jesus.
3 days, no problem.
No.
Okay.
Give me 3
Yeah.
days on the stake, 3 days in the cave.
Yo, what
I'll face the
there we
call.
go.
What was that?
I think that's the opium.
What?
Was it a bag of sugar?
Yes, actually.
I like how
for
when
my
we
puppy.
started. I like how when we started talking about crucifixion, Trey stood back up and got on with us.
I happen to know next to nothing about the subject.
Really?
I
I know enough,
When are you gonna start live
But-
looping?
and that's what counts.
Yeah, you're gonna start live looping. Are you gonna like take a quote of somebody and like start live looping, make a beat with it?
No,
Come on, be Reggie Watts.
no.
Be Reggie Watts.
You strangely look like Reggie Watts today. It's odd. I don't know why.
Yeah, we all mulattoes look the same.
Yeah,
Is that right, Almond?
I'm just here.
Almond doesn't look like Reggie Watts.
What are you talking about? We look damn near exactly the same.
Oh, I don't got no beards like that.
Almond's cock is a lot bigger.
I don't know.
So,
I believe
don't-
that.
We might have to measure.
Pull it out on camera.
All of us.
There we
All
go.
of us put our cocks at the same time. Hold on, let me get hard first. I can't whip it out soft.
Yo, Justin, can you disconnect for a second?
Why, you need the screen real estate?
No, you gotta
Let me
turn the
borrow
second
your
camera.
camera. It's going to extend all the way over.
Yeah, I got
you know?
two cameras. Got two camera angles on. Put them next to each other so it extends. That'd be really funny.
There's a really cute puppy over here.
Oh,
Yeah, he's
Can you show
he's
us?
over there. Yeah, he's over there.
Is he gonna bark at me?
No, well, baby, you did last
Every time
time.
I see him, he barks at me now. I don't know why.
Yeah, he doesn't like you
I'm-
anymore.
I'm honored to say that Jericho really likes me, your dog,
Oh,
Almond,
yeah.
because you said that he can be really iffy with
Jericho
people.
is very iffy with people. He bit Shamise the first time.
Really?
Shamise met him, he bit her hand.
Wow.
I had to
He just licked on my hand. He liked me.
yeah, he bit Shamise's hand. She got an infection or something. It swole
Whoa.
up. Yeah.
Wow. Big
She
bite.
had to get antibiotics. It was pretty rough, but he
Wow.
likes her now. That was just the first time.
Post infection. She's all right. She checks out. She
I
survived.
feel bad. My
She's
friend
bad.
had this pit bull and like military based training, like one of the most well trained dogs I've ever seen in my life. But it was, it was trained to protect. And my dude, like his neighbor, opened up the front door and stuck his head in, and dude ate his face basically.
Oh,
Whoa.
It sucked. Yeah. Yeah, that dog was the
Damn.
only dog I've ever been scared of.
Why would you open up someone's door and stick your head in?
Well, that's the whole thing. Like, this dude knew better too, and I felt so bad for my friend because, dude, like sued and shit, and they had to put the dog down. And,
Yeah,
Mm.
that doesn't even make sense. Like, you put your face in someone else's house, and now that guy's dog has to die? Ooh.
Right?
Yep.
That's what
Yeah.
I'm saying.
And I mean, this dog was
And that's how that shit
well
is. I
trained
hate it.
but it was trained not to let anybody in the house.
Was this
and-
in Florida?
yeah,
Does it stand your ground law? Does Castle Doctrine not apply to dogs?
It doesn't
Not
apply
really.
to dogs. No.
What?
Dogs are like, if a dog bites someone, they're subhuman. A human is more important than a dog. So
But even as an intruder, though,
unless you can prove it was home invasion, someone got bit by a dog, and that dog is gonna die essentially
seems
if they
like
want it to.
seems pretty.
Yeah,
If they want
Florida
that dog
laws
to
are
die,
real
that
bad
dog's
about
gonna
it.
die.
I don't know with what intent he stuck his head through that door. He could have stolen it with
Try to steal
it would be
yeah,
really,
I mean,
it'd be really hard to like testify against your homie though if he's your
yeah,
friend.
and so you're also, it's either you send your neighbor who was just trying to check in to jail for home invasion that he wasn't trying to commit, or your dog is dead. You're a rock in a hard place right
Rot in a
here.
fucking box. Are you kidding me? I feel like 80% of the people listening to this, 80% of the two people listening to this probably agree to me.
80% of the 2 people.
If
I
you
would
came after
definitely-
my,
That
I
one
don't
guy
give a fuck.
split left
If you
left.
came onto my property and my dog attacked you and you try to fucking sue me, and we're homies, we're not homies anymore. Game
No,
over.
they aren't. They've been at war for the last few years.
Rightfully
Okay.
so. And I hope the dude
Yeah.
was winning,
Wow.
Yeah.
even though he already lost. But I hope he's winning in whatever little ways he can, having already effectively lost the war.
I wouldn't sue if that happened to me, if I was that guy. I mean, I would be in a lot of pain. That would suck. But I don't think I would.
I wouldn't put myself in that position to begin with.
Yeah, especially if I
have
know the
experienced enough
dog.
about dogs.
Easy.
Especially if I know the dog. There's no way I'd do that in the first place. Yeah, that's a dumb move. Guy deserved to get his face ate.
For real.
I have a question for the technical minded here. What do
Okay.
you think is going to happen to the Mac Studio?
They're either gonna discontinue it or they'll make another updated one. Because the Mac Studio, in like the hierarchy of their products, the Studio is far superior than the actual full size tower Mac, except for in terms of like airflow maybe, but
And PCI expansion.
yeah, but so like there's and way cheaper. Like the full tower is like so dummy expensive, it makes no sense. Like it doesn't
it's
make
like
sense in their
$30
lineup.
more.
It doesn't make sense in their lineup at all. But it's such an Apple thing to have, so I feel like they're not getting rid of that. But I feel like the Studio they'll either get rid of because it's too affordable for like what it is, or they'll make a new version, keep it around. I feel like they're not the company that like streamlines their products anymore. They just keep adding
No.
shit. They could keep adding shit, and I think they're
Yeah.
gonna keep doing that.
I think they're gonna release an updated version with the 5-pin MIDI out in the back.
Get
That's
With
my-
MIDI,
yeah.
They call it the
I
Studio.
mean,
and have MIDI out.
Yeah.
they'll make they'll make a special edition Mac Studio MIDI. Call it that.
All right, Tim
No,
Apple.
they're gonna cut it
The
down
Mac
to,
MIDI.
like,
One from your boy.
one USB-C port, and then sell a USB-C to MIDI adapter. You have to buy for like $95 or whatever.
Yeah.
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 You know,
That's
like,
the only way
I
to get
can-
MIDI in. There's no like MIDI it's all handled through the dongle.
You know,
And it takes up a port. Like it takes
I
up an
respect-
existing port. Definitely.
I respect the technology gains that they've made with their chips, with their ARM chips. I mean, because that has just been insane technology. But what I see is Apple has been banking on that specific technological advancement. That, I mean, like they've got everything else sucks about them, right? They've got a really great chip, but then everything else sucks. I mean, you're talking about the RAM you can't update. You can't, your SSD, you have to go to either a third party that has to try to get it from Apple or,
Not that it sucks, but that it's overpriced.
they put the power button on the bottom.
That is dumb. But
Dumbest thing ever.
the actual thing though with that is that power button is meant to be used once.
Sure, but I mean, like even then, it's just, it could be put
Who
on
are
the
they to
back,
decide how often I turn my computer on
right?
and off?
But I mean, even then, it's Apple is banking on their advancements with this one chip, right? Their
And AI.
own lineup of chips. They're banking on it so much that the rest of their products just suck. They might just keep pumping out pump out a new Studio, but like when they put out the M1, it was a huge leap in the size and the performance and battery life. But I mean, we haven't seen that same kind of leap generation to generation.
Oh, we won't.
No,
We won't.
And
the only
exactly.
reason we
Well,
saw
because
that kind
they
of
made
leap,
that leap, and then they've been compounding on that leap with the M2 and the
right,
M3.
and Apple is going to keep going in that cycle until they can either try to find a new generational leap, or they put it into a new weird form factor and say,
Well, it seems
What-
like they kind of hit them and Nvidia more or less. It seems like Nvidia and AMD have all kind of like hit the end game with those like kinds of traditional
SoCs.
base, and so it's like what I'm seeing a lot of chatter about now, for whatever it's worth, or whatever it's just being pushed in front of me, and like it will or is irrelevant already. I'm seeing a lot of chatter about this quantum chip that Microsoft just unveiled recently, Manjaro or whatever.
Yeah, that's bullshit though.
Yeah, which is exactly, which is why.
Why
It's
is
a
it?
development
Wait,
board.
what is it, and why is it bullshit?
It's
It's a lot-
topological superconductor based, which basically means that it's a superconductor that operates on the surface of the material rather than through the core of the material, which makes it a lot more feasible. You know, they're talking about a density of quantum processing that's about 5 or 6 times what we currently have through like Google's quantum chip and other companies. But the issue being is right now it's still not reliable, and it's more of a proof of concept than anything.
Well, and not even that. The photo that they put out, like it claimed a huge amount. I'm not even sure what the number was, but like the actual number of like quantum chips on it was like 8.
Yeah,
It wasn't
Yeah.
even their huge number. It was,
Back to
So-
Apple for a second. I think Apple is kind of killing it in terms of their hardware right now, and they should stay on that trajectory, but they need to fix and make some changes with the software side of things. Like, I think they need to allow you to use Mac OS on an iPad, or like, stuff like that. They need to there's a lot of things they could do better in the software side.
I mean, the software
'Cause
side of things.
Because their hardware is great. Everything is so nice to use, and the chips are powerful. Like, everything is very powerful. But they're almost throttled by the software now. At this point, it's like the opposite.
What I want to see is like a Mac OS Pro, right? Like
That you have to pay subscription for. Don't let them hear you say that, or me say that,
yeah. I mean,
because that's they would do.
OS X server died years ago, right? And now the issue is that in the case of like a work machine, you no longer have like an unbloated operating system run, and there's very little you can do with Mac OS as far as stripping away the shit you don't need.
True, there's Linux.
Well, yeah, but other than Open Darwin or whatever it is, it will never see the efficiency.
I like the idea of Linux, and I like that it exists, and I like also the idea of Android, and I like that it exists, and I like things like that.
Android sucks.
But sometimes
Whoa.
with some
Whoa.
things,
I'll never say that again.
with
Yeah,
some
why?
things, we can get into that in a second. With some things, I just really prefer things to just work in a simple way that I know how to use, and not have to have a lot of problems, like,
And
making things just work.
You don't
Install
wanna have
Ubuntu.
problems?
yeah.
And also, I'll say that, not for anything, but for as long as I've been alive and have been paying attention, it seems to me that gamers have more or less been pushing and steering the direction of computer tech for the past like decade and a half, like pretty stridently. And
Yeah.
given the current sentiments towards Windows and how rapidly and effectively people are making the switch to like Steam OS and figuring out how to like run games on Linux, and how rapidly gaming is being adapted
I
to
could
Linux.
see
I think
Windows being less.
I think that in time, as that demographic becomes more and more widespread, like that's going to be niche now, but in like 5-10 years time, Linux that'll probably be how Linux ends up becoming mainstream. It's through gaming, just like
I could definitely see that.
Yeah.
I could see Windows being relegated to like work environments and like enterprise stuff,
Like
and
Mac.
then like gamers being using Linux, and then maybe even like regular consumer at home, maybe even using a version of Linux.
Well,
Or Mac or
Android's
something.
Linux based. So is Chrome OS Linux based, and
But that's what I
Mac-
mean. Like, I could see
Mac
another
OS is-
whole OS coming up.
Mac OS is sort of Linux based. Actually, it's more BSD based than Linux, but it's It is mainstream.
Well, and I think the Linux is at the point where if you really dumb it down, like a Chrome OS, you could give it to someone, and they don't really have to worry about it, right? But
Yeah,
if you hand
true.
someone like a computer, a Linux computer, they're probably going to run into some things that I've learned a lot working at like a place like a church, where the people that are using some of these computers
I have no idea what the hell they're doing.
literally need to be handheld. I mean,
Yeah,
like
those
they
people that were
they
born
won't
into a world
tinker.
without computers.
They won't look around. They won't try to tinker with their device at all. I mean, they're almost scared of their device, right? And so
Right.
Linux isn't at the point yet where you could sit anyone down in front of it and just expect it to work normally.
Almost so.
Almost. And Mac, I
Joseph,
think
did you-
Mac is doing a better job at that, where like you could put someone down in front of it, but the ecosystem cost to get into it is so high. And so
Yeah,
you know,
I'm running into
Windows,
that.
I see, Windows is turning into this bloatware AI, generative system. I think Windows, I don't even see Windows in the workplace anymore, with just how much stuff they're trying to throw into it with all their advertisements and stuff. I don't know. I think operating systems are in a weird place right now where there's not really just a good one that works that you could sit someone down in front of and expect them to like not mess it up.
Yeah, I mean that's
comes pretty close.
what.
OS X does come pretty close.
Yeah, I mean OS X is great. I mean, in that respect, and I mean that's one of the reasons why I switched to Mac is because
Right.
I wanted to get out of tinkering with my system. Like I just
Right.
literally did not want to do that anymore.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna lie. After switching to Mac, that's kind of the thing that I miss the most and regret the most about switching to Mac. Is I can't do shit with my fucking computer except for work, which is why I got this particular computer. Is because I can't do anything but work on it for the sake of focus. But now it's like, we got all.
Well, and obviously, I mean, there are people that can take, they can take Mac OS and they can tinker with it. I mean, like I've seen people do some insane things with it, but the problem with that, at least to me, is like you look at the cost of the ecosystem to get into it, and not just the cost of getting into it, but the cost of not being fully in it. Right? If you don't have a Mac
Yeah.
computer and
It's
a Mac
inconvenient.
phone, if you don't have the Apple Watch, they all might work together, but they don't work well together. Apple really pushes their, you have to be in the full ecosystem. And so it just becomes so expensive to get into it. But at the same time,
I think that's changing though.
Yeah, I
It's
think
changing though with their Macs being better costs, better.
Yeah, the new
efficiency.
iPad. The 10th gen iPad, or being what it's 450.
Getting the power user version of their products are stupid expensive.
Yeah,
But you have less of those people actually wanting to buy those anyway.
yeah. There's special cases. Small development.
They are still-
studios, etc.
They are still the more expensive like prestige brand technically. Like now, I still agree with you, but it's moving in a different direction.
Yeah. The one thing I will say is, I mean, I made the switch to Mac back in 2014, and or 2013. So I've been in it, over 10 years now. And I mean, I've used Macs
It was
longer
like
than that, but
2020 for me.
the thing is that I've had 2 Mac laptops, 3 iPads, actually more than 3 iPads, but several of those were just given to me that I didn't purchase. But
Big shot over here, getting given iPads.
well, like the old ones, they're out of date, no longer supported, but I still use them for various things for until things die.
Yeah,
But I've spent less on tech than I would have otherwise because of the longevity.
that's fair.
I went through like 3 Android tablets in 4 years before. You know what I mean? Like, and it was
yeah.
where even at $200 or $300 a pop, I had my iPad Pro for
So it's really kind of almost a
years.
thing of upfront cost versus long-term costs
Yeah.
in some cases.
That's the other thing too is product life support.
Right.
You get 6 years to 7
'Cause-
years on an iPhone.
Yeah.
But then you don't. It's really hard to upgrade the other. Well, really any of their hardware almost. So I mean, you don't have the longevity in the hardware department
But
unless
you do
you're
because
unless it's something more recent because of how powerful they are.
even their old stuff. I mean, shit. I had my iPhone 6 for 5 years, and it was 2 years old at that point,
Mhm.
and never wanted more until it broke.
And iPhones maintain value too.
I mean, you guys want to hear something crazy? This laptop that I'm using right now is a 2015 MacBook Air.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
like the hardware that, I mean, if you get a good system from Apple, you've got a good system.
Yep.
The problem is, at least to me, when I look at the value proposition, is Apple's been taking away all these all the external ports, right? They strip you down on how much memory and storage you can have. I agree that if the system that you order works for you, right? It has all the ports you'll ever need, or it has all the storage you'll ever realistically use, then it's a fantastic offer. But at least for me, I look at it and it's like, the actual price of what I would want out of a Mac is, it's just more expensive than what I can think reasonably handle.
I mean, I can understand that. I bought a refurb MacBook Pro, first generation Retina. It was my first laptop, and I used that up until 2021 when I got my MacBook Air. And honestly, it would have been, still a viable system, except it needed some work. It had been beat on pretty severely and been in enough environments that the fan had lost efficiency, and being a first generation Retina unibody, there was no really tearing it apart and doing that, but it was still going strong. Then I got my MacBook Air, and I'm like, holy crap, though, and that's a M1 MacBook Air, and honestly, I wouldn't. I've had it for 4 years or 3 years now, and it probably wouldn't. I wouldn't need to upgrade for another 2 or 3 years. And I only upgraded because I could, and the cost right now of a Mac Mini, the base model Mac Mini at $600 is a third of the cost of just a Threadripper alone, and it's half the performance.
Right.
So when you figure you would have to literally spend 3 times as much just on the processor alone, not including anything else, let alone graphics card, which the new M4s, even the stock graphics card is equivalent to like a 4070 NVIDIA, as far as raw compute. It's the price just went way down, but again, it's one of those things that where if you look at kind of yes, Apple's blood-sucking evil corporation like them all, but their adoption of Thunderbolt to mainstream, where on the PC side it's not mainstream, and Thunderbolt technology, being that it is basically PC,
But
PCI Express,
I argue if it's mainstream within a community that is not mainstream, is it really mainstream? Because Windows is the mainstream, PC is the mainstream.
With the M1 MacBook Airs and M2 MacBook Airs, that's changing.
I guess that's fair. Yeah.
You know, like there's a lot.
And I
of
would
people
say,
new
I
to
would
the
say,
MacBook.
I feel like I don't have numbers to back this up, so I don't know if this is actually statistically, factually true. But I feel like in the laptop world, there's way more MacBooks out there than there are Windows laptops. Like maybe not
Oh, yeah.
manufactured, but I feel like I see more people with MacBooks than
Well, because everybody with a Windows, laptop doesn't want to take it out because it's already broken and
Yeah.
the hinges
Or
crack.
it's heavy, it's big and heavy. And,
Yeah, exactly.
Pull it out and the fan starts spinning.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Like,
or
I feel
it's
like
been in their backpack and the back, it got out of sleep mode and the battery died.
I feel like Apple really does a good job catering to the normie market because the normies who are using Windows laptops, they're not getting the good ones. But a
No.
normie buying a MacBook, they're gonna have something decent.
Right.
Where the people who are like know what they're buying when they're buying Windows stuff, they're spending more money. They're buying a nice. Those are like nice laptops, but the normie who buys a laptop doesn't know what they're buying.
What I
Yeah.
want to see happen with, and I mean now, Mac does the refurb and whatnot, but what I think would change the game a lot for them is to make a hold on.
How unprofessional of you!
I know. Is to make a sub $600 laptop like an Air, but with older generation like M1 processors.
So an SE,
Oh.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
weren't they?
I honestly,
I thought they were
scoop
doing
up.
that. Actually, I thought there was a rumor of that.
There was with the advent of the M1, like a couple years after the Air came out with the M1.
I always thought in my head that that's kind of what the Air is supposed to be.
Yes, but the Air is still too expensive.
Yeah, that's true.
That would be.
But the
I would
Air
scoop
should be
up in a
that.
heartbeat.
But that's in my head what the Air should be. Is
Yes.
exactly that.
Yeah.
Is just the slightly cheaper, well, significantly cheaper,
Well,
lightweight.
that the Air though was a premium item over the regular MacBook.
It was. I remember like when it first came out,
Yeah.
it was,
Yeah.
Yeah,
which
it
is so
was-
weird. It's like, yeah, I don't know.
Because it was so thin at the time, it was actually
Yeah.
more expensive to produce.
Right. Which it might, other than the components, it might, other than like high spec models of it, it might still be more expensive.
Not really, no.
You don't think so?
The M processors derived, the M1 was derived from the A14, which was passively cooled. And
So no cooling needed, really.
The boards, between the MacBook Air and the MacBook Pros now are damn near identical.
Yeah.
I guess at the end of this, looking at the way the current tech ecosystem is right now, I don't know if there's anything that I'm particularly optimistic about. Looking around and saying I'm excited for developments in that. I think it's just, I don't know, for the next few years, it's just going to feel like, a next development cycle.
I'm excited for
Nothing
VR
much
to
more
be
than
cool.
VR.
Good luck with that.
So I
When
agree
VR
with
gets
that.
really cool.
VR coming
I
back.
agree with that, but Half-Life Alyx is actually a game that made me want to get VR. That game.
I
actually
think
looks
VR
really
is
good.
cool. It's just not really cool yet.
I will tell you right now, I had a Quest 2, Quest 2. I still do have it. I haven't used it in 3 or 4 months, and then before that, it was almost a year. But for damn near 2 years, it's the only game I played. Like, only games I played were in VR for a long time. And it was great. However, it gets to a point where it's not there yet. It was like a good tech demo,
Mm-hmm.
but it's just not there yet. And I don't think it will be with the technology we have currently until you can plug a cable into your brain. You know, it's
Well,
just
So
I can plug a cable into my.
Do you want it? Would you? What if it was an XLR?
Would that make VR? VR is gonna be cool once I plug a cable in my brain. I can do that right now.
I mean, it's just it's the where of the technology. Anyways,
What if-
Josh,
what
you
if-
gonna say, what were you gonna say?
What if plugging
No,
into your? Oh, go ahead.
no, because I remembered something where Steam and Valve there was a rumor that they were working on a new headset and that it's
Yes.
actually supposed to be released by the end of this year.
Yes.
So-
Mm.
I mean, hey, like, you know, we talked earlier about gamers being the one that helped, you know, move. I mean, like, this could be one of the
Gaming
things
and
that help
porn.
push it.
Mhm.
Well, the
Hey.
Valve Index, you know,
Yeah.
started the actual VR revolution, you know, on PC.
You know, and if this could be more of a like a like if this could be more of like a handheld machine, like the Apple VR
oh.
system, but it's actually like, you know, decently priced and good, and you know, I mean, honestly, I could see it.
Is
I
the
could
Apple
see it.
one standalone?
yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So you don't
can
you don't
connect it
need
to-
so you don't need anything else to run an Apple Vision Pro. You can just run it by itself entirely.
Yep.
That's cool.
You can work it with the computers to give it like external displays and connect
Yeah.
and such,
Yeah.
but
I think one
like-
experience that would be really fun in VR is like the theoretical scenario of things like VR chat or things like having your own virtual space where people are not like if we could do this call in a VR space together, that
Right.
could be really fun.
And that is possible. I mean, even the MetaQuest now, and you look at the price of it, like, you know, you can buy a used Quest 2 for like $150 right now. In good shape, you know, or less.
yeah.
And it is honestly fucking fantastic. I would not upgrade to middle ground, like unless I was going with one of the new, you know, released headsets from CES this year that are, you know, 4K resolution in HI and you know need a fucking $3,000 computer to, you know, run with anyways to even fucking do it. I wouldn't upgrade from the Quest 2 because the middle ground isn't good at all at this point.
Yeah.
But
I was gonna say earlier, what if the future of like the brain linking tech it goes back to like old school computers where every single different thing had a different type of connector. So like your visual data is a type of port, and then you have a different port for audio and a different port for like tactile, and like all your senses had a different connection to your brain. So you have like 8 wires coming out of the back of your head.
You just got the red, yellow, and white ports. just
Component ports.
back here.
oh yeah, component video, yeah.
Stereo, so you have stereo sound, so there's two or more cables going for audio.
Yeah. You don't want the 5.1 upgrade or
I want the Dolby
7.2.1.
Atmos.
The component.
Yeah.
Component.
Actually, though, kind of on topic is talking about going to old school technology. For right now, the fastest once the infrastructure is built and there's bigger machines made, but right now, even on the development, smaller matrix models, analog computers running actual like analog voltage matrices are running AI models fucking like 70 to 150% faster than standard compute modules.
Really? Where do we have analog computers still hanging around to even run them?
Well, they're you know right now they're you know development shit. There's no major manufacturing of analog computers other than there's a few flight systems that use it that I know of. But they're used to process firing solutions for fire and forget missiles and shit like that in the military that are
Oh, okay.
analog based computers.
Interesting.
And the reason for that though is the latency. There's none.
That makes sense.
But other than that, like, you know, I mean, the latency in a standard, you know, even 20-year-old computer chip is negligible to the human experience.
Yeah.
It's just the capacity that's lacking, right? Pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, an analog computer would, you know, theoretically take larger amount of space, but they're working on, you know, basically you know, printing in silicon analog computers now. So, you know,
what would a
once-
silicon-based analog computer be? How would that work?
And the same as, you know, the only difference is that you're not measuring bits, you're measuring voltage.
Would you fuck a silicone computer?
Who says I haven't?
Nah, man.
The real advancement is,
man.
is when you could hook up like a VR headset
Silicon
to one
wife.
of those like fully remote dolls. I mean, that's going to be like the real advancement right there. That's
They
gonna
already
be
have
like
it.
VR.
It's
Do
already
you think
already
Plankton's
done.
wife is
You
silicone?
know, Elon Musk has one of those Tesla bots for himself.
You think?
He's got a
Do you
custom
think,
one in a closet somewhere.
Do you think Karen is silicone? Plankton's
Yeah,
wife.
right.
Karen,
Plankton's wife.
Plankton's wife.
The man probably has like cyborg recreations of all of his ex-wives. Probably got like 3 different versions of Grimes
Oh my
Yeah.
god. Ugh.
parked in a garage next to his Tesla battery.
He's got different versions of each of his ex-wives with different modifications that he would have done to them. Like
Yeah.
this
Different
one, this
outfits.
one has this. Yeah, this one has bigger boobs. This one is bald.
This one is
This
dry.
one.
She still making
This one is
This
bald.
This one has a swastika on her forehead.
This
Yeah.
one has balls.
He's got one that's just Grimes, but it just constantly gives him compliments and says, "You're great at Path of Exile. You're number one."
Yeah. Yeah. He's a compliment bot.
God,
You
Wow.
don't need to pay someone to do it. You can do it yourself.
honestly, that was my favorite part about that whole thing that came out. Is like she actually posted like, you know, as much as I don't like him, he was actually pretty good at the game. And
Do you play the game? How do I know you know what good at the game means?
It's kind of it's
Honestly,
funny to
that's-
see the turnaround on how quick Grimes went from them being married and in love to her just hating him.
Yeah.
It's really
How
funny.
few kids will do that.
Yeah, right.
Name your kid fucking Ash.
I think
What
a
the
few
fuck?
kids and also worldwide fame will do that.
Doesn't he have like 14 kids?
Something like that. 10, I think.
Bunch of kids. He really is African American.
Wow. Wow.
I mean, as far as I know, he pays. his
I'm
bills.
sorry, Omen. I'm sorry that.
That one was a good one.
I mean, and this is coming from a Jew.
Yeah. Hey.
Wow.
He said it was funny. It's okay. It's okay. If you laugh, it's funny. It's good.
Trey doesn't seem to be laughing. Trey, we can't hear you.
He didn't say anything. He contemplated it.
No, yeah,
There
no,
go the sponsor spots. For this
No,
week.
that shit was hilarious, bro. What are you talking about?
He was thinking of which Jew slur to use.
Out of my bag of tricks, my mini bag of holding was just a bunch of slurs.
A bag of slurs.
Yeah. Throw one out there.
Josh, did you say something about ads? An ad spot?
Yeah, I was about to say there goes our ad spots for the week. You know.
No, we still got ads. I have an ad right here.
Oh, we do.
Now that we're back
Yeah.
to the ad, a point that
No, I have an actual ad read here.
Oh,
I have an actual ad read.
Yeah.
Are you getting paid for the ad read?
Something like that.
Oh, I already know. All right.
No, you don't.
Mm-hmm.
I got a couple of them here. Don't worry.
Okay.
All right, come on down to Quickies. We'll get you gaped and scraped in a matter of seconds, all from the comfort of your driver's seat. With our patent-pending technology, the scrape and suck splatter-free slurper, you won't miss a beat. Third trimester, say no Lester at Quickies drive-through
No
abortions. Use promo code PROM NIGHT
What
your,
the
on your
fuck,
first
yo?
one's free.
Use purple code.
Wow.
guys.
This is for
Guys, use
Quickies
promo code
drive-through
PROM
abortions.
Is it twins? You could get like a buy one get one.
Maybe they'll work something out for you. I don't know.
Oh
have to
my
talk-
god.
Hit up customer service. Cookies drive through abortions. Thank you so much for the sponsorship. Next we have. Let me see.
We have Gorgonzola, made from tow.
Do you have dangerous materials? Do you have dangerous materials, environmental hazards, car batteries? With no questions, recycling, doing away with your toxic sensitives is as easy as fire and forget. Our proprietary systems allow for molecular restructuring and complete deconstruction. We'll throw anything in there. There you go.
Oh, okay, yeah. So here we go.
Bag collected.
Here, I don't have dangerous materials. I have this.
Oh, I forgot part of it. We don't ask, we don't tell. Use promo code ALIBI for discreet shipping. There you go.
I like that.
And our third and final sponsor of the night, Downtown Secondhand Pharmaceuticals, your one-stop shop for boner pills, lactators, and antacids all over the counter. We source our products from the finest donations. If you're interested in our products or would like to aid in our endeavor, email Dave. Promo code 50% off to get a free half-full bottle of KY jelly. There you go.
Wow.
Secondhand Pharmaceuticals. In case you ever need a singular Xanax legally. Unconventional materials. There we go. Oh yeah, that's the yeah. Well, there we go. Thank you to our sponsors. Appreciate them.
That's actually the record label that put out my album.
Unconventional materials.
Yep.
Why don't they just say weird shit and get it over with?
That's what I was saying.
Yeah,
Because
I got some weird shit for you.
Conventional approach to naming themselves.
What'd you say?
So that would be a very conventional approach, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I guess you're right. He's trying to be unconventional.
But yeah, the story of that label is kind of crazy. It's weird. I had to come up with it like off the top of my head
You
because
weren't joking. It's actually a label.
my album
Unconventional.
wouldn't fit. What?
You weren't joking. I thought there's actually a joke on the
No. Yeah, look up my EP. Look at the label. It's imprint of my boy Roy's label.
Oh,
It's a sub label under his, but he asked me like what I wanted to call it because he couldn't put it out on his label because it was technically too different, like from the stuff he releases on that label to put it out on that label. So he's like, "Hey, what do you want to name your label?" And I'm like, "Okay."
unconventional materials.
Good job.
We should have Ghost on the
He
odds.
smells the peanut butter on your asshole.
Oh yeah, he smells it. Trying to get a treat.
No.
Trying to get a sweet almond nut.
Almond Joy has nuts.
He's
Mountain
trying to get the
Stone.
almond joy.
them almond mouth.
Have you thought about like how fucked up that statement is?
Almond joy?
Do you remember those commercials first of all?
What? Almond joy?
Yeah, almond joys
Mm.
have nuts, mounds don't.
No.
Think about that.
Okay, I'm thinking about it.
That was a legitimate like advertising slogan.
Okay.
Sense to me.
They're the same
Like-
company, Mounds and Almond Joy.
Damn, does boomer
Yeah.
sensibilities are showing.
What's crazy about it?
I understand.
Is
Just,
that like a
just
Saying that they have nuts?
and mounds don't.
What's the joke with Mounds? I don't get it. I'm
Ma-
missing
like-
something.
Did you know like any other thing that's called a mound?
I mean, is that just
Ew.
like a? I mean, that's
Like-
is it?
Like a pussy?
Yes.
Okay, yeah,
I've
they
never
don't have
found that.
they don't have nuts, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Almond joys have nuts, mounds
Okay.
don't.
Oh,
I've never called.
Like, but that was a mainstream
Okay.
commercial. Like for years.
I remember seeing a
Like,
commercial
everywhere.
for I think it was Old Navy, and the quote they kept saying was, "I shipped my pants."
oh, Kmart.
Kmart. Kmart? Was
Kmart.
that Kmart?
It was, oh my god, I just shipped my pants.
Yeah, I shipped my
It's
pants.
so convenient. I ship my pants right here.
That one makes me
Yeah.
laugh.
No, but I mean, Almond Joy was their like main slogan. Like
Well,
Like,
Frank's Red Hot.
it
also,
was
like,
more than just one advertising.
Frank's
campaign.
Red Hot also has the curse word in it, but it's like
I
splat.
put that shit on everything.
I put that on everything. It's got the little
Yeah.
splat on the graphic.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's
That's
common.
always with the old lady, right?
I guess I don't know.
I think so.
I'm talking about just on the bottle itself.
Yeah. We should make a
Pardon my
product, and the
weird
slogan is just "We'll suck your cock." You know, just like something really crazy.
And it's a vacuum cleaner for chickens.
Yeah. Actually, that sounds smart because if you had a little vacuum to like suck up the dust off of a chicken, off their feathers without hurting them, Ghost on the Ox cocksucker.
What if we just had a?
Snickers. We
Have
modeled
you-
the fame
Just
off
had
a real guy.
Have you seen the Cock Whisperer?
Was that your nickname in high school?
Yes.
What if we just?
No, there's this like this dude he does memes on like Facebook and shit, whatever. But it's like all he does, like, people send him pictures of their their roosters, and it's just innuendo, cock innuendo after cock innuendo, like the entire
So
time.
he just receives cockpicks all day.
Yeah, literally, it is.
All right. What if we start a company where we get a bunch of homeless people and
Take pictures of their dicks.
no, we're just like, hey, you got a problem? We got homeless people. Whatever you need them to do, they'll do it.
Does your city have a
Wash your
homeless problem?
laundry.
Does your city?
$20 is $20
Is your-
bucks.
Wash your laundry, suck your cock, anything
And
you need.
The slogan is homeless problem, homeless solution.
You know what's hilarious is that I'm pretty sure back in debate club I remember going to a competition and we managed to stun lock like an entire like section of the debate competition for hours longer than it was supposed to go on for, based on the emotional the ethical efficacy of something exactly like that, like a
Of
company-
using homeless
a
labor.
government directive that just takes homeless people and defaults them to positions of labor as a
Yeah.
as of like just basically if you
I-
can't hack it in capitalism, you get defaulted into communism.
I borderline almost believe we should do that.
I do
And
think
that's
we
what
should.
but you know what the fucked up
But I
thing
do.
is that like
I feel
a lot
as
of
though
people-
they should still have rights, as
Oh,
long as they
I
have
think-
like rights and.
That's happening to the general population
That
now,
would
though. Have you looked into the laws?
He's like, I leave you with this
2014.
theory.
4 hours later.
I leave you with this conundrum debate.
In like 2014 or whatnot, they changed the right to education laws,
Mhm.
and so it is no longer a like your ability to go to any sort of secondary school, additional school, vocational, etc., whatnot, is not guaranteed at all anymore. And it is basically being allowed, but at any point, for whatever reason, you can be not chosen to not exceed your high school education or any other formal education outside of that.
Okay.
So that's one of the reasons, in kind of low key, when the change to certificate training started happening more and more.
I don't see
Oh, I get what you mean.
education as a right. Unless it's self-education.
People think we are fascist. We're fascist.
I don't know about that. I don't see education as a right because it requires somebody else to do it. And you can't really force
But
people to
you're-
do something.
You're correct, but that wasn't the case. It's not a education isn't a right. The right to the right to try to have or
To enroll,
to enroll or
the right to pursue education.
yeah, pursue. Thank you. Yeah, exactly. The right to pursue education, right? So now you don't have a right to pursue education. It's actually just kind of right now in a gray area. And so any formal government accredited schools, whatnot, yeah, you have no particular right to be able to go to them. And like I was saying, like if you look at the amount of you know certificate and completion accrediting that's going on in the workplace, whether it be like a Cisco or A plus or whatever computer, or even in the case of like equipment operator certificates and shit like that are offered. And a lot of them are offered through the companies that are producing the equipment or whatever. So it's a level of like vocational certification that is not considered basic education, which is a completely different thing.
And I mean, because I've got my Sec Plus through CompTIA, right? Or at least I had it because it expired.
What is that?
Right, and that's another thing is like they've changed them from
what is
being
that?
like a lifetime certification. Security Plus.
Computer security.
Oh, okay.
It's for cybersecurity.
Okay.
It's like one of the beginning fundamentals of it.
Like Coursera.
No, because it's through CompTIA. It's a very, it's a very popular. I don't want to call it well accredited, because some people look at it. It's kind of, I don't want to call it like the beginner, but like it is a very popular cybersecurity certification. But even then, but they used to be they used to be lifetime certifications, and they've started changing those to be like they expire after a certain while. So I mean, like that even there is part of it where you could get a certification and then just lose it because you're not you don't have the right, you're not guaranteed that right for education for that certification.
Coursera is more on the education side, and your certificate there kind of more allows you to go get like your various, like CompTIA, R whatever, R CEPT or whatever that is, the European one. There's different countries and different companies and whatnot, including like Cisco and whatnot, that do their own certification program. But CompTIA still does all the Cisco certification, doesn't it? Or did Cisco take over finally all themselves?
They usually do all their own CCNAs. That's all through Cisco.
Okay, I know that CompTIA used to offer
CompTIA, if I remember correctly, they do like the A plus, Network Plus, they do Security Plus, but then the ones that are higher up than that, I believe they do the CISP, which is like the next level of cybersecurity.
Yeah.
But I know I know that like at least for CompTIA, they're more beginner and more widespread, but then like something like a Cisco or like a Red Hat for their certified ethical,
right,
those are more very specific, and they usually cost
right.
If I can turn us back to the homeless conversation, I feel like homeless people should they should do something. I don't think they should do backbreaking, dangerous stuff, and I don't think they should do skilled stuff because they're not qualified. But unless they are, but I feel like they should do something.
I think homeless people should have a community that they have to live in, like a
And I want to
like
just
a building.
So segregate
complex
them.
or segregate them until they have enough to move themselves out of that community.
So my
Okay.
kind of.
before,
First
to
of
my
all-
anecdote before with the debate team that was bringing back the homeless thing, that was specifically with drafting them into the army. For the record,
Oh.
yeah.
Oh, I remember you telling me about
Now
this.
I'm going to stop you both here because okay. First of all, and I will only stay on the soapbox for a minute. Okay, but have you ever been homeless? First
No.
of all,
No.
okay. Have you ever worked in a homeless shelter?
No.
Yes.
But
Yes.
I have
Okay.
helped the homeless. Sure.
There's basically two kinds of the majority of homeless,
Mm-hmm.
right? There are either ex-military or generally fairly high tier, well, not high tier, but like middle tier technical workers, construction, etc., whatnot, that literally fell on hard times and don't really have any desire to go back to that world. Or you have the mentally ill.
That's three. That's three.
It was veterans and low middle tier as one.
Yeah,
that's one group.
Because it can be. I've met
Are they there due to outer circumstances or
Those technical people could have been military.
Well,
they kind of.
Nevertheless, with what
Yeah.
I'm saying, if they wanted to move, I'm saying that there should be like a housing kind of unit for them so that at least they're not homeless. And
they don't want that.
They don't want that.
If they don't want that,
and
they
that's
don't
a
have to
very
be. I'm not
small
saying that they
portion.
have to do it. I'm not saying that I'm going to shove them in there. I'm saying that this is a thing for people who do want this, so that way they have a way of.
There's not enough that do.
Well, I'm sure.
And we also do have versions of that already.
Yeah.
Of homeless.
Separate.
Well, so what I was going to say to continue that is that
Okay.
they also have jobs, but the jobs are more freelance, if that makes sense. Kind of in a way of how Uber Eats
You're not wrong.
works, or like Uber delivery, but instead it would be different odd jobs that they can personally accept or decline if it feels like however they feel about it. But it's like
Exactly.
like they have a phone that's given to them. It's probably not the
Yep.
best phone, but it's a phone so they can
No,
get
it's an
access to
iPhone
the
16 Plus.
job. Well, probably if we can get
No,
the funding for it.
Off camera, I will talk to you about the place I worked at, and I can't really say much without identifying, and I don't really want to identify it on camera.
Your
But
quality is killing itself right now. I'm just gonna tell you that before you
Yeah,
start.
your audio and video is kind of cutting out.
Yeah,
really,
you're like kind of laggy.
Yeah, you could whip it out right now, and none of us would know.
For real.
wow. Okay.
No, it would just be one frame for a second that freezes and comes back.
No, his luck it would stay on that frame for the rest of the
maybe
the rest of the stream.
Maybe try leaving and rejoining real quick.
Okay.
Yeah, the homeless thing is interesting because I like. Oh, he's back.
All right. How's that?
Into a pit.
You're better now. Yeah.
We can hear you.
Okay,
but yeah,
cool.
you're good.
So, the place I worked at was an independent, ran and funded homeless shelter, and they had a product they put out basically, and the clients would sell this, or not even sell it. It was a donation based thing, but and the more capable that were there, they were found jobs a lot of times within the company. And so it was a nonprofit organization that functioned as a business. And the dude like was a huge kind of part. There's a small community of homeless shelters around the country that have been fighting the laws that prevent this kind of thing. It's very, very, very hard to do. So many so many laws and restrictions, let alone the general population not giving a fuck about the homeless, like has made them very hard to exist. And the ones that still do, they're roughing it out because it's such a fucked up thing legally, nationally, like national law and local laws that prevent really anything being done about the homeless problem. And it could be solved easily. This would stop Stephen churches.
It really could be. So could hunger. With how
Yeah.
much food we waste, all of it could technically be solved, not necessarily relatively like tomorrow, but like we could
Yep.
have more resources in place so that if food at a restaurant is gonna go, there could be like something, like maybe they put it in something and it's in a
Yeah,
container.
it's
It was already
illegal.
gonna go, so they can, like, someone comes by, picks it up, and they can deliver that food or whatever, like whatever set amount of food for the day.
That's
Like, I don't know. Like, I feel like there's ways we could be doing something, but we're just not, and it
Restaurants?
doesn't make sense.
Restaurants, especially a lot of the more higher end restaurants, will already do that to the limits of the human capacity, and all of the waste is a necessity in order for restaurants to function to the degrees that they do, to the degree that you can walk in there and get a full course meal within like 20 minutes, and it'll be good and cooked properly and prepped before that, within that 20 minutes. Like, all of that requires a lot of prep both before and afterwards that leads to a lot of waste, and a lot of people aren't always going to eat everything that they're served, but a lot of the restaurants,
Then there's the liability of getting someone sick.
necessity, just like any,
Yeah,
just
that's
like
what I was
human
about to
body
say.
is.
So I mean, yeah, someone could get sick, but
I think
also someone
it should.
could just not have food.
I think restaurants serving fresh food, it's less of a problem and more of like places where you buy the food, like stores. Stores have a lot of waste, and that a lot of waste that some of it needs to be thrown out because it's probably contaminated or old or something. But they have a lot of waste that
when I was working at Publix,
totally fine.
there was like a bread bin, and when the bread was starting to go bad, we would like pull it before it's bad, I guess, and we would put it in that bin, and that bin of bread usually would get shipped off to like some homeless place or something, because that's how Publix was like making sure people were still like that. It's not just getting wasted.
Right.
And I feel like there's ways that business could be doing that in higher scales. Like, things expire, we could push their expiration like to a shorter time or something, or like, I don't know, like a company level time where it's going to get to this point, so they put it out and it goes as donation.
It has
or
a sell
something.
date
Like, I don't
and then
know.
a donate date.
Yeah, kind of.
Right.
Like, I feel like there's a way, as a society, we
Yes.
could be working on.
There is a way,
to get
but
better.
the laws don't allow it. One of the things that we ran into is so we would get basically stuff donated from the Port of Miami that either wasn't claimed, etc. A lot of frozen foods, and especially the stuff that didn't go to auction in time. But like the way it works is really weird. But it was very hard, and we got the Port of Miami and some of the associated importers and stuff like that, and distributors based around there kind of in trouble. Is like one of the things that would come in from this one place was these big pallets of like quality fucking burgers, like lower than McLean, but
About as quality as your audio right now.
fuck.
It's not
Can't
the
do
worst
anything
one.
about that.
Yeah, it's not the
okay.
worst, but it's not the best either.
But anyway, having them donate it to us or us purchase it at a low cost or whatever was damn near impossible. And we fought with the city of Miami and the county of Broward and Miami-Dade on like food that was, either didn't sell or couldn't be sold or wasn't claimed, by whatever organization or whatever had purchased it. It was, dude, it was a constant battle. And in a lot of cases, what would happen is we would get either like some sort of worker or whatever with access to a truck would just bring it to us off the books because it became too much of a hassle.
You okay, buddy?
I think with my
You alright?
forcing homeless people to work thing, I think I would make a change to that in the sense that I think there's a lot of homeless people that are probably just in a, like you said, in a rough, fell in hard times, in a rough patch in their life, and they probably won't even stay homeless for more than like a year
Exactly.
or something. And I feel like those people don't need someone to step in and force them to do something. I think what I'm thinking of is more so those people who literally like can't function in society. Like they're homeless for like for like years at a time. Like,
And the reason they can't function in society is they're usually either mentally ill or drug addiction.
yeah.
And
I think those
or
people, I don't
something.
think they should be treated as subhuman or like have their rights stripped away or anything like that. But
But they can't do work.
They need something. Well, maybe not. Well, maybe they don't need. I don't know. There might be
too
some
unreliable and they're a liability.
There might be some kind of like they could do picking up trash on the side of the highway. That's something
that's
like,
why
you don't need any skill
say-
for.
That's why I say there should be like a way they can pick up their own odd jobs at their own like behest versus
Kind of like
and decline
kind of like-
however they wish.
Kind of like those offices that find work for you. There's
Yeah.
things like that, but it's like maybe those type of people need to be kind of
Helped.
put into that program
There's
and
too much
find
hand-holding
jobs
to
that
be
they
done.
can.
They're unreliable. They're not. I'm sorry. I've worked with them and
Yeah.
the ones that are great and whatnot, but they're
They need someone like 24/7 to walk them through the whole thing.
they're. I mean, they're not
Their
capable
faculties
of
aren't really
working.
there.
And they're not trustworthy. They're not. They're just not able to work.
Would you
and-
say so? I know like Walmart hires.
We could turn them into
Disabled
nutrients and
people-
solve the hunger problem.
Is it like a situation where like even? All right, I'm gonna skip that
Totally.
one.
Jesus, Devin. Wow.
When
That was a joke.
you know how Walmart like
Sure.
hires disabled people or like there'll
Right.
be like just greeters basically or something. Can they not like even do that?
No,
Like be a greeter at a job? Okay.
no. I mean,
Have you
personal
seen a
hygiene
Walmart
is huge
greeter?
thing.
I've seen them.
Um,
They don't even do anything really.
But it's their ability to stay there for 8 hours and work a shift.
I mean,
Um,
I'm not saying that they have to do that for 8 hours. They could be doing it for maybe 3 hours or something, just so they have some kind of
But-
money.
you would have 10 people show up at once and then not have anybody. Like,
And then
And
and then there's the case of like
well, I'm
you were
not saying like they would be working
But-
at a corporate job. They would still be taking like an odd job, but something like I don't know if there's. Do you not think that there's anything that they could be capable of doing?
Well,
Um,
it's
like,
partially the
it's
problem
short.
of what you were saying earlier that it's too handholdy. They need somebody who can find them the right jobs that they can do in the first place, and then also make sure they do it. And then you're basically having two people making
make
sure one
they're
job gets
showered,
done.
Make sure they're not
Yeah,
too
and then-
fucked up
and
on pills.
we don't have
make sure
enough
they're not,
people we don't have enough people
to be
to make sure that
someone. That makes
for
sense.
all the homeless people. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not even trying to say all of the homeless people need to be a part.
I don't
of this
think all-
thing.
I don't
That's
think
just
all of them
if
do
they
either,
want to be
but-
a part of it. they can type.
I
thing,
mean,
like
the
it's an
homeless
option
people-
for them.
But
The
then the
homeless
people,
people-
the people who need that the most don't want that in the first
Right.
place.
Well, if the people that need it the most, if they don't want it, they don't want it, and that's like, yeah, that's okay. But
and
someone
the
is going to
homeless-
use it. If it's there, it's not going to go to waste. I don't
But see
think.
what you but then we go back to the same problem of we already have what you're describing,
Yeah.
and there are people who use it. The people who really need it desperately the most are not going to voluntarily do it.
No. Because they want they don't want to go to a homeless shelter either because they can't shoot fucking dope.
Yeah, they want the freedom of being homeless.
Yeah.
And that's their freedom.
I mean, but you got to look at like the largest and the population that could use the help that we won't because they're working, they're making 50 grand a year, but they're living in their fucking car. And we don't see it down here in Florida, but look at it almost every major city, and I'm sure Miami has their share of them, but it's a little hot to do in South Florida. But I mean, the northern cities and across the Midwest and Los Angeles, people literally sleeping in the back of their fucking car. Because
And I don't like that we have places that have laws that punish you for doing that because
Oh,
Like-
yeah, that's weird.
I don't like laws that punish homelessness. Like
yeah. Oh, it's a
unless
nightmare.
you're on private property, that's kind of different because it's private. But if you're just out in a town, out in
And
the
you're
city,
homeless.
whatever, and you have nowhere to go, like,
Oh, how dare you be homeless?
or
You're
if you
going to
do,
jail.
or if you're homeless but have a car to stay in, like,
Yeah.
I don't
Well,
like
but
that.
I mean, even then, like you talked about, like them being on private property. Correct me if I'm wrong. Aren't like a parking lot in front of a Walmart? Isn't that technically Walmart property or like
Yes,
the
yeah.
development property?
Mhm.
Right.
Yes,
So like
and
even
Walmart
parking
used
your
to
car
allow
there
it,
for
they
the
don't
night,
anymore.
right? Like parking your car there for the night to try to get some sleep. You're
Yeah.
on private property. So
That's true.
Well, I mean, there's like off the side of the road on like 95. You're not on private property then, or
Yes,
like,
you
there's
are.
like different places that. What 95 off the side of the road is private property?
Yes,
I can't
it's
go to
it's
sleep
a
there?
government ease. So yes, it is private
can't-
property.
what about
Government
the rest
property
stops?
is private property under the law.
I can't sleep at a rest stop in my car.
And a rest stop is different though. That's what it's designed for. But like just parking along the side of the road, no, there's no guarantee to that. It's an officer's discretion whether they want to charge you. Like if you're like you got a good officer that doesn't think you're being a dick or whatever, then yeah, they'll just say, hey, move on. But that it's not pleasant otherwise. The Walmart used to allow overnight parking, whether it be campers, work trucks, etc.
I thought they still do.
I usually see
No.
overnight parking still.
A lot of them stop.
Oh, really?
Behave.
Yeah. But that was one of the nice things that Walmart was doing. However, as many fucking closed
Jericho.
Walmart's been turned into SEMA camps.
Leave it.
I'm a little worried about that.
Trey, you've been awfully quiet. Do you have anything to chime in on with this?
No. I mean,
Sounds like you don't want
I
to get your
did-
hands dirty on the homeless conversation.
No, I did throughout like several parts of it, but I didn't know. I couldn't really, wasn't sure where to interject, and so I kind of forgot like all of it.
What do you think about
Yes.
my proposition of just turning them into nutrients and solving the hunger problem?
Sounds fine.
Yeah, there we go. Toilet green is people.
well, I mean, isn't that like the
I
theories
think
about
that
how
at the
the
end of the
Wall-E
day,
movie works?
It's just one of those things where it's like,
Yeah, I think so.
I don't know, like I kind of recognize how like complicated and complex it is, and so like any point that I make towards it just doesn't seem to be making enough of the point, and so it's kind of like I'm not. I don't know. Seems to be it's a very complex situation. There's a lot that goes into homelessness that people on both sides like don't register, which is why they think the thing that they do on homelessness. And it's like you can either way, but it's like at the end of the day, it affects me so little. Thank God, that I don't particularly feel strongly one way or the other.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean,
Or at least I'm not beholden to expressing how I feel one way or the other. Given how it's like my experience doesn't lend me much credence on speaking on what homeless people ought to be doing, and I'm not interacting enough with homeless people to really know like what's best for them, other than the fact that most of them are there due to circumstances that only they can help themselves out of, and that's a very painful reality that not a lot of people are aware of, and that's the kind of thing that shouldn't be supported by like huge public things, in my opinion. It's just one of those situations where it's like it's the freedom to fuck up just as much as there is the freedom to find success. You also have the freedom to fuck up, and in that freedom, you have you get to some of the consequences of that. And if it's due to circumstance,
you have the you remember Josh, you remember this? You have the right to pursue happiness, not the right to it to be given to you.
Exactly.
Trey, you would know this possibly. Do you remember the name like from like pre-Victorian to like medieval time? There was a particular
Jericho.
name for like the Freemasons that were freely allowed to like cross borders and were essentially stateless. And I'm not talking about the Freemason organization as it now, but the Freemasons that were known because they were Masons and freely traveled to around to build, various constructions over those periods of years.
Yeah. What about them?
What was the name of that type of person? They were stateless and allowed to cross borders.
A Mason.
What?
I'm pretty sure they were acknowledged as Freemasons. That's where the
no, Masons were Masons because they were masonry workers.
Right, which is who the Freemasons were at the very beginning, up until relatively very recently. The Freemasons were, and a lot of their power and sway culturally is predicated on their understanding of geometry and mason work and architecture, which allowed them the sway to become as powerful and prolific.
Right, but forget what they are now. That doesn't matter.
I'm talking about what that name.
I think
about the
Trey
name.
is right. It is the Freemason.
The name comes from that free, as in borderless, Mason, as in it's literally what you're describing.
Yeah, no, I know. But what I'm saying is there was a name, a word that described that type. No, they were not a Mason.
A different name.
For someone that like they could have had a different profession, or it included the overall name for like a stateless person who can cross borders. It's not Freemason. That refers to a particular subset of people. Yes, they were free. And
sovereign citizen.
Sovereign citizen.
Yes, but they weren't called sovereign citizens. But yes, and
vagabond.
Sovereign citizen is a little bit different.
Crackhead.
No, there's a particular name, but anyways, the ability to do that at this
person
point,
who is not yet nutrients.
No, they made a movie about the dude's life, and he ended up in this issue as he was stuck in a French airport. He was like from India or something.
Oh, the one they made the movie about with Tom Hanks.
Yes.
Are you talking about like a
Alec Empire from Atari Teenage Riot was stateless, or tried to become stateless for a while. It didn't quite work. I don't think it was only for a period of time.
This is similar in concept to well, I guess it's not really. I was thinking of like a person, an emissary.
You mean like
a ruler.
The word that's
what's the word?
Is
somebody from an embassy. When you're traveling between embassies. Not emissary. Is
diplomat,
that diplomat?
Yeah.
What were you saying, Josh? Sorry.
No, the word that I thought was like the unnaturalized, but I don't know if that's applying.
Yes, it's something like that. But there's a word that's like it's like Old English sounding, or like a different, like, I don't know.
Well, what were you bringing up the word for?
Just because
the word right now, what was
the ability to do that has been completely taken away.
To be off the grid, to be just
to be
living on the land
and be able to cross borders.
Yeah.
European Union aside, And that's why it's the European Union. And there's countries that aren't part of the European Union. Most of them did because it would be stupid of them not to, and they were bold into it whether they wanted to or not. But
and I think we're at a point now where it's not that we necessarily can't do that, but like I'm fairly certain that there are paths that you can take and like paperwork you can do to renounce your citizenship.
yes, but you still have to have citizenship somewhere else. You have to have somewhere to issue you a passport.
So you basically you have to default citizenship somewhere. Your default state cannot be no state.
Yeah, you can't be stateless. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, not for anything. That's probably for a reason.
Well, yes, it's to control borders.
Well, because whether you like it or not,
population.
the powers that be are going to call you a citizen somewhere.
Yeah. That's what happened to the dude at the airport in France.
Mm-hmm.
You know, about 14 years fucking, and the French basically said, come in. Then he went back to the airport because he didn't like living in the outside world anymore. He became institutionalized.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a wild story.
Dude, that's
a wild change up of your life. Imagine.
Oh yeah.
I feel like that'd be fun for a bit though.
Oh yeah. Oh no, it's great
for a short while.
I did that at Waffle House.
Yeah, but that's again intermittent homelessness. Not that's not. The same
No,
thing.
it was actually like fairly long-term homelessness.
Okay.
In fact, getting a job at Waffle House ended my homelessness because Waffle House is where I lived, and I learned the job by helping out the crew.
They're like, you're here all the time. You want to make some
exactly,
eggs?
Literally, and after like the
it's like you order a coffee. They're like, you're here. You know where it is. Make it yourself.
Exactly. Literally,
turned that Waffle House into a waffle home.
What? Waffle home? Yeah, I turned the Waffle House into a waffle home. Literally,
and a waffle job.
Yeah,
that's incredible. What a come up story.
After the third time, the manager walked in the morning because I usually was there mostly at night. And the manager walked in the morning. It was like the third time after the district manager caught me behind the counter, and she comes in, says hi, walks to the back, comes back with an application, a shirt, a hat, and my apron, and throws out and I mean, she just needed it formally done and just hired me on the spot, because whatever. Yeah. It's like after fucking 4 or 5 months of hanging out there. Yeah, it was pretty crazy.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. Shout out to the fucking Altamont Springs Waffle House.
The nearest thing I ever experienced to homelessness was in high school when I would skip school a lot and I would just kind of wander my town or go to friends' houses for most of the day.
Oh, wait. Oh, that was on camera.
I have some questions. because your camera paused at the perfect time where you went from holding a baggie to all of a sudden
damn, how much sugar you put in
your
there?
white tissue in your nose.
No, it was the white baggie.
Oh, there you go.
Not actual drugs.
Is that sugar from your neighbor? Did you have to borrow sugar?
No, I brought it from the kitchen.
You brought all the sugar from the kitchen.
No,
From his neighbor.
I brought some of the sugar to the kitchen to the studio where I have my
kitchen.
Where you have a what?
It's meth.
Woo!
Do you have a coffee maker out there?
No, but I have a French press.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You should have a coffee maker out there.
No, because I don't have water out here.
That's fair. Yeah.
This might be a wild tangent. You know what this sugar reminded me of? Did you see that
Drugs.
guy online? Did you see that guy online who posted the video of he was taking horse supplements and horse electrolytes?
No.
Okay, there was this guy. He posted a picture of this bucket of horse electrolytes, and it's supposed to be one horse electrolyte for a normal horse a day. And apparently he was just taking them. right?
Yeah.
He would like chop it up and he would just take one. And granted, at the end of the day, it's not really that much different from just normal human electrolyte, salt
Right.
in it. And everyone's like, there is no way you're healthy. And he got a blood like test done, and he was like fine across the board.
Really?
But it was just a picture of like this bucket, absolute giant bucket of horse electrolytes. And he was like, I don't have hangovers anymore.
No,
I feel
I was
great."
not paying attention, but when you said a bucket full of horse, I was expecting cum.
Glock
You've
brand.
been on the internet too much, sir.
Hey, if you can get the Glock cum, if you can get the
I used-
Glock horse cum, that's some money.
Josh,
I used to threaten my friend. I used to be like, "Bro, shut up, or I'll drown you in a bucket of horse cum."
wow.
Can you imagine being drowned in a bucket of horse cum?
Would you rather come in the sink or sink in the cum? But in this case, it's a bucket of horse cum. There you go.
Much rather
Yeah,
go
what
in the
were you
sink.
What were you saying to it?
Funny story, I
Um,
did come in the sink once.
Why?
I pissed in a trash can.
I'll tell a story. I'll tell a story.
Pissing
It was
in a
my
trash can
it was
makes more
it was
sense.
my it was my
I don't
first
want to hear.
time-
We don't need to hear this story. I don't
I
want
wanna
to
hear
hear.
it.
I personally don't need this. No.
You guys
I
don't
already
wanna hear the
have.
story?
No.
No,
No.
I think we're
No.
going to the cum
No.
in the sink story.
Wait, Armand, do you want to hear it?
I want to hear the cum on the sink story.
I don't.
It was my first time sexting ever. I was in like a first. It was like an early girlfriend.
They still only lasted
And-
2 days.
He did it. He was like, "I'm leaving."
I'm out.
That's fair.
I almost
fair.
did. I almost did.
No, he told me, he texted me saying he was gonna dip soon anyway. But it was a early girlfriend, and it was my first time ever like sexting, and she requested to see me finish, and
It was too
Ran-
dark in your room.
it was not really like a convenient way to do this. Yeah, it was like dark. I was in bed. I ran to the bathroom, and I finished before I could get it on video first, and it was just in the sink. And it was just in the sink. And I
So not only did you make it into the sink, but you also disappointed her because she couldn't
Yeah.
walk.
yeah.
Yeah.
Let me ask this. I need to know this. So that means you must have stopped in the middle.
No.
Pulled your pants up, ran to the bathroom.
Well, I didn't have to pull my pants up.
Oh, so you just went to the bathroom? You're like, in your hand. This is you.
Well, I think
Wow.
I needed. It was
And
more
then-
about. I needed the
wait.
lighting. Yeah.
And so then you get there, you're at the sink, and you're still going, but you don't even have the camera ready. What?
Well, like it still lasted under 2 minutes. So
Well, no, we had been talking and going at this for a good little while, like maybe like 30
4
minutes or
minutes?
something. 30 to 45 minutes.
Okay.
Somewhere in that time realm, and I was already like close to finishing anyways, and then she said I wanted to see it, and then so I get up to go to the bathroom because I needed the light and better lighting because it was too dark to see anything in my room, and I go to there and I'm trying to prepare to finish. And I'm fumbling. I basically fumbled with the camera, like trying to like because it was Snapchat. It was Snapchat. So I had to like hold the button on the screen,
Yeah.
and I fumbled it, and I was already like coming, so I couldn't really get a good video. So I just missed it, you know. There's a-
And my question is, at least for the sinks
The
that I've
professional
experienced,
cameraman dropped the ball.
well, like the sinks that I've
I might
experienced
choke.
have been at like above my waist. So in order for me to like I'm thinking about it, the only way I'd have to like stand on my tippy toes to make it into the sink. You know? So like
how low is your? Were you just shoot up into the air? Was this?
I want to
high
say the sink was.
pressurized?
I want to say the sink was about waist height, and
Okay.
and my dick was out, and it was at just the right height. I don't know.
I think it was at the right height. All right.
Yeah. This was an older house I lived at, years ago.
This was a great story. I'm glad you told this.
this was just last week.
No.
That's your first time sexting last week. It was right after last week's box thoughts.
No, it was my first. It was like my first girl I was ever like in any way sexual with.
Mm.
So it was like middle school.
I thought it was a girl.
It was. Well, I'll reassure
You know
you.
what needs to happen next is next week she's got to be like a guest appearance so she can confirm the story.
That's not happening. She's crazy.
Even better,
No.
she's got great stories to tell. There you go.
Yeah, exactly.
I would not want to talk to her. No way.
Oh, man.
No,
Well,
you know
we
what's
talked
fucked up
before the
about that
homeless
girl?
crisis.
Actually, what was fucked up about that girl is we were kind of an on again, off again thing, sort of. And again, we were in 8th grade, so this was not at an age where like sexual activity was like common or like expected even. And we were an off again, on again thing. And one of our things that we would do a lot was together was ice skate. She was really into ice skating, and I also knew this before we were a thing that she kind of had a thing for one of these ice skater boys, right? Well, at one of the points that
Lord.
at one of the points that we were off, she like complains to me sort of about like why I never, or no, sorry. When we got back together at one point, she like complains to me about like why I never like asked for head or anything like that. And I'm like, bitch, I'm 12. Like, I don't know.
Bitch, I'm 12.
I'm 13. We're in 8th grade. Like, I don't expect you to do that. And she was like, she said that she like enjoyed doing it and she had done it for, the ice skater dude. And I'm like, I don't need to hear this. Number one, you're telling me, well, why did you offer it to me? You're doing it for this guy.
Yeah, well, why did
Number two,
Why did
I'm
you
playing with
offer it,
Legos.
and
Why
why
are you
did
telling
you
me?
Yeah, if you're so into it, why don't you offer it first
Yeah.
off?
Why don't you ask me to? What the hell?
Yeah, like what the fuck?
Wow. Okay, this is just no.
Well,
I did not need this much
I think I would have
information.
broken up with her after hearing that information. I don't
We
know.
didn't stay together. Yeah, no.
That information would have been enough for me to say, all right.
Yeah, no, I was done.
This is why I'm never going to ask you.
I am never coming in to sink for you again.
I hope you enjoyed that because that's all you're going to get, bitch.
Wow.
Yeah.
I heard you
Oh,
enjoyed
my
that.
Lord.
Me missing the capturing the image because that's all you get.
Wow. I have no words.
You just said so.
Do you guys have any funny, like, embarrassing sexual experiences? Because I have another one.
I told you mine where maybe I told you I was having sex with this girl, and she was like the first girl I ever had sex with, but this wasn't our first time. We were together. We were doing the process. I'm going, and we had just started basically.
Were you
I'm doing
sideways
this
or were you on your side?
I was on top, domineering. Okay. It's missionary. And I'm like, yeah, I'm feeling, we're doing the stuff. And then she's like, deeper. And I'm like, all right, you know what? I can go deeper. And so I'm doing it. And then I push and, I feel a kind of tear. Yeah, I feel a tear kind of like I hear like a tear or felt like there was a tear there. And I thought it was just because like I stretched her. And I'm like, damn, I'm really doing it right now. I'm doing the best. I'm doing the most. I'm in there. I'm hitting these guts. I pull out and there's blood. And I'm like, oh, babe, I think your period started. And she's checking and she's like, no, I don't think my period started. And I look at my dick and like on the shaft side, like right here of the dick, basically, like right here at the top, there's like this little vein, kind of.
Oh my
God! You know what I'm talking about?
The little
it's like
skin, the little part that, yeah.
Yeah, it's like a little piece of skin here. It ripped, it tore, and was bleeding because when I had pushed in, she was not ready for me to go deeper. I don't know why she was asking, but I did it, and
Girls
it was like
they don't know what they want.
friction. So it definitely tore. And it didn't hurt until I had realized what was bleeding. And then
Then
I
it hurt.
felt it all of a sudden, and I was like laying in the bed, like, ah.
Did you come though? Still,
Soldier down,
No, I didn't
soldier
go.
down.
Yeah,
Weapon,
no.
weapon.
There was no bussing.
no busing.
Wow.
No
Did
bussing
you
at
see
all.
weapon? Lower your weapons.
Soldier down, soldier down.
Down.
Weapon jam.
I mean, it's amazing you stayed hard through it.
You know.
Yeah, how
that was a
long
good
before?
I was having
how
blood
long-
loss too. Yeah, that's a good
It's like
question.
healthy hydraulic.
How
fluid,
long-
You know?
That's a lot of
Just
bodily
spraying
fluid
blood out of my
swapping.
yeah.
Yo, how
At
long
high pressure,
between?
mind you. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, the pressure. How long between when you felt the tear and you realized what actually happened?
So what happened is I was going. We were doing it for a while.
Yeah.
And I had just slipped out. I was gonna put it back in, but I realized there was blood, and I'm like, oh wait, there's blood, blah blah blah.
Oh, so you didn't? It took a while.
Yeah, I was ready to keep going. I wasn't done.
You were in it. You were in it to win it. Like pain, no gain.
I was having fun until I realized.
Good God.
It's like like the runner, like complete.
Well,
like after
that's
tearing
how
your ACL.
I understand how Nosferatu died now from the sun.
Wow.
I understand, man.
Wow.
For real.
Sex is dangerous.
I was just laying there in pain after that, and yeah, so I've never made that mistake again.
I've never had a penis tear, but I've gotten molars dug into the tip of my penis. You know, getting really low performance blowjobs,
Teeth jobs.
teeth jobs, where they're not angling it right and it's hitting the back of their teeth.
Wait till one loses a ball fucking from their piercing.
I think you say when like from the split ball sack
Oh, it's
loses
rough.
a ball down there.
Oh God.
Oh, it's rough. Yeah, I have
Was it
I had
a
two of them
piercing ball?
at the same time. She had 3 piercings, like 2 like on the sides and 1 in the front and the middle, and 2 of the balls came off. Yeah, basically at the same time. Like I thought it was her tooth at first, and then the second one. I'm like,
Oh, so
hey,
it was just the rod part
yeah,
was poking you, basically?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
yeah, it was pretty rough.
Ouch. So
And
you
it
get
happened
a
within, like 30
so you were
seconds.
getting head and sounding at the same time.
Basically, yeah. Yeah, it was rough. It was no fun.
Sounds like it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well-
no, I mean it's
like King Richard or something.
Prince
Huh?
Albert.
Prince Albert, you know.
Prince
Yeah,
Albert.
I know someone that's happened with. I mean, it wasn't as bad as but yeah, no, I was like in the next room when it happened, and yeah, no, it was pretty funny.
Pretty funny.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Man,
Yeah,
I was offended one time because I was with friends at a party and
yeah,
some girls, some guys, and after I leave at some point. I lived in the same neighborhood, like I lived in the same place, like nearby as them, and I leave. I go home. I talk to those friends the next day.
Nico.
What's up, Nico? I talked to the 2 girls the next day because I worked with them, and I find out that one of them fucking had sex with one of the guys at the party, and the other girl was just in the room hanging out when it happened, and I was offended because I was like, I couldn't have stayed and just chilled too. Like you had to wait till you had to wait till I left to do that. I mean, I'm cool. I could have just hung, you know. I could hang.
Devin, why do I feel like you trying to go to a Diddy party?
It wasn't a Disney party.
Listen, I won't stare at you guys. We're just gonna have a great conversation over here.
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't know why you guys want me to go.
Yeah, it wasn't a Diddy party. These were all adults, and they were all consenting.
Okay, but I'm saying like this sounds like the type of party that a Diddy party would be like, where you walk into a room and there's just people having sex in the room. And
Well,
you're just like, oh,
there was
let's
this
judge their
was- okay.
strokes.
it was
Hey,
a
let's-
part. Okay.
That's-
Let me clarify.
3 stars on
It
the
was-
stroke game.
let me- 4 stars on the cum.
Oh, 4 stars on the cum for sure.
5
Yeah,
stars
hold
on the
on,
cum
hold
shot.
on.
That was a lot of cum he shot. Yeah, for sure.
No,
4 stars.
so
4
let me
stars.
clarify. It was a party, and then at the end of the party, when everybody was gone, it was like 4 of us left,
Oh,
and it was me, 2 girls, and another guy, and one of my female friends and that guy friend, they hooked up while my other female friend was just like there, and
watch
Did
it.
you Eiffel Tower?
I wasn't there.
They waited till he left. That's
maybe I would
what is
have.
going-
Yeah, I feel a little hurt inside that
Maybe
they
the
felt
other
like they had to
girl-
wait
maybe
until
you
I
both-
left.
You would have had sex with the other girl, maybe. I
Maybe
don't know.
exactly. Maybe
We'll never know now.
that's why I'm upset. Like I could have just chilled.
That must have been pre-planned, honestly. She must have been like, "Hey, Devin, whenever Devin leaves, we're gonna have sex in front of you. My boyfriend always wanted, or not my boyfriend, but he always wanted this or some shit. I don't know.
They
must have
weren't boyfriend girlfriend, but they were
Girlfriend
kind of
talking.
flirting. You know, they were a thing a little bit, but not really.
They were flirting.
Flirking, yeah. That's when you flirt and fuck.
And that's when
Okay.
you flirt. Well, Devin's seen them flirting before.
Yeah.
Flirting and fucking.
Yeah,
He was just mad that this time
You
they
don't
didn't
really
let him
I didn't get to watch.
Yeah, this time he didn't get to watch.
No,
He's
but
like,
what
"The
I
heck,
what I was
saw
told,
last Tuesday, I can't
what-
see it this Tuesday.
what the other girl told me, the one that wasn't involved, she said that she was actually like asleep, and the other girl
Sure.
told me that the only reason that she did have sex in front of her was because she was asleep. And I'm just thinking in my head, like if I were in that position, I was asleep and they started having sex, I low key probably would have just like woken up, seen for a second, and then just pretended to stay asleep.
While he
Oh
masturbated.
god, there was that one Reddit story where the guy and his roommate were, the roommate had a friend over and he woke up in the middle of them going at it, and he was like, oh shoot, and then pretend to go back to sleep. But he heard his roommate say to the girl, oh, don't worry, he won't wake up. He's a heavy sleeper. Right? Next morning, he's out in the living room watching TV, and the girl comes out, talks to him, and she asks, oh, how'd you sleep last night? And he responds, pretty well. I'm a heavy sleeper. And she immediately goes back and hits the roommate. But oh man,
That's funny.
No, it's not.
I've definitely had roommates that
be right back.
I've definitely had roommates that
I know two of
getting at
them.
it. You do know them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, wasn't she pregnant when I met her?
No.
I thought she was.
No. I'm gonna cut that you said that. Because no. That's gonna be the
No one
only
knows
thing I
what I'm talking
cut.
about.
Some people that watch this might. So I'm gonna cut this. Well, I'm gonna cut that just that you said that.
Okay.
It's funny though.
Wasn't she pregnant?
No, she was not. No.
Wasn't she pregnant?
I'm not even gonna acknowledge you said that a third time.
Okay.
this will all be on the future cut, like the Snyder cut version,
This is director cut.
the
Yeah.
pregnant cut.
Pregnant cut.
The deleted pregnant scene.
Yeah.
Only on bootleg copies sold in Japan.
We need to hit up our sponsor, the drive-through abortion clinic.
Yeah, yeah. Coat hangers are us.
Shit. Yeah, no, there were, that's not the only time. It's being in the next, well, I was gonna say being in the next room as someone having sex is awkward, but it's really not that weird if you don't know them. Like if it's a hotel or something. But if it's like people you know, then it's like it's always one of those kind of like funny, like, shove your friend on the shoulder, like, haha, that's happening type of moments.
You know what I think is arguably worse? Being in a car with a couple that are absolutely going at each other at an argument.
Oh my god,
Just-
yeah.
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 I told you to turn there. Why don't you turn there? You never listened to me. Oh, God.
Yeah. No.
I want Omen to come back because there's a thing related to that I want to tell, but there he is. I'll wait a second till he's on. But yeah, no, being in a room when people are arguing or being just
I gotta
around
go
an
to the
argument.
bathroom.
Wait, Omen, stay for 1 second. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I was gonna tell the story because Josh said that like sucks being in a car or at a place with a couple that's arguing. It's really awkward. And I was remembering about us in the car. I won't name who it was, but with a couple, and the couple, the driver is like not really like being very like what's the right word? They're not really paying attention to like the speed bumps on the road.
The speed
And-
bumps, the road itself.
Yeah.
It felt like,
and then and
it was
the
a very
other
scary trip. He
the
was
other
angry
person
for some reason.
yeah, getting real tense. So
It
he
a very
was
scary car ride.
he was driving and the other person, this sounds really weird without explaining, but she was in the trunk, which not a trunk, but the back, the it's a hatch, so it's a back space. And every time he went over, he would go over a bump really fast, and it would fling her in the air. And then she commented like, "Hey, watch for those bumps." And then he never changed anything. He never slowed down. He kept doing it.
He
And
acknowledged it. He acknowledged it.
He even
He acknowledged it, but didn't change anything. Nothing changed.
He went over like 6 bumps in a row that were flinging her in the air in the backseat.
No seatbelt attached to her.
Yeah.
She's just back there. So, and he was not driving the safest. Man was just
Mm-mm.
upset at something. No one said he had to come, bro. I could have drove. Devin could have drove. Other people can drive.
Yeah.
I don't know.
He was a very nervous driver. That's a pet peeve of mine is people who are like get worked up over the littlest thing when driving.
And then he was also trying to work on the phone. And this person is an older person as well, I'm going to say. This person's an older person, so they're having difficulty finding the things on the phone too, while driving, while angry. So let's just say Devin and I are happy to be alive.
Yeah. And we were listening to music and he like couldn't focus driving while the music was playing, so he turned the music off and we're all just sitting there quietly. It was really awkward. Like being in a car with someone who's angry and you have to just sit there quietly and let them be angry is so like the worst experience, It's like, how about that weather, huh? Shut up.
Basically. Bro, I've never felt like a kid. Since being a kid until that moment, bro.
Right?
I felt like a child in some other person's car, and mom and dad are fighting, and I have no power. I have no power. I might say the wrong thing and get us all killed. So
Right?
I'm just staying quiet.
I could turn us around.
Like,
Oh,
Well, I'm gonna let you get to the bathroom because we're gonna wrap this up here. I think it's been a
Alright.
good sesh. It's been about 3 hours. That's
Jesus
good.
Christ.
Yep. You said you were only gonna be here for a little while.
Yeah, I know. I'm
You covered your mouth.
You were a
That's
lot
what you're
more-
censoring.
you were a lot
Yeah.
more here this time, though. That was fun.
Yeah,
it was
I
fun
like when you
chatting with
contribute.
And then we had that good conversation about homelessness. I really like that conversation.
yeah, no, that was good. That was-
Homelessness into coming in the sink. That's the
yeah.
Yes.
Here we go,
Mhm.
guys.
And drowning in a bucket of horse cup.
Yep. I wonder what the title for this episode is gonna be.
I got
Horse
a good one.
cum? Homelessness
Sinking in the
cum.
cum. Sinking in the
battle-
cum.
The battle against homelessness and horse cum.
Homelessness and horse cum could just be the name.
Yeah. We need to talk about the X32 too at some point.
Why? Let's talk about it right now.
Oh, I'm
No,
going.
no,
Leaving the
it's
cast.
not.
4 hour long.
All right.
Woo!
Bye.
All right.
Have a good night. Have a good shit too.